shot. Although I'm going to have to test out the YouTube chat side here. I think it's a little bit too cut off. So, nope, that didn't work. Okay. Let's see what I can do here. Why don't we move this down? And we'll lengthen it just a little bit. Hello, hello. I'm just making some slight adjustments here. Just trying to make things visible. So I'm trying a widescreen format today on TikTok. Let's just see how it goes. May or may not keep it. We'll see. Okay. Welcome in, Elizabeth. Good to see you. And thank you. So just trying a different like screen format. Although that's unfortunate that, geez, I'm like tempted to just put it way up there. I need a way to make the kick pole. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think I'm just going to stick with it for now. All right. Lock in, bro. Believe in God. Lock in, bro. Give me some evidence. It's really simple. How do we believe in something we don't have evidence for? We can't read the screen. It's really small print. Oh, that's okay. So I may switch back to the. If everything's really small, I might just switch back to vertical. Yeah, it does look pretty small, doesn't it? Well, let's see if I can fix it. Let's see. Welcome in, folks. It's really small. Yeah, that looks a little too small, doesn't it? Super small trust today. Yeah, I am. I'm tiny. I'm tiny trust. Yeah, I don't think widescreen's working out for me. Okay. I'm gonna restart the live and I'm gonna go vertical. All right. I'll be right back, everybody. Sorry. Okay. All right. Oh, YouTube. Yeah, you're still here. Okay. So I'm going to fix things up on the YouTube side. So give me a second. All right. Give me just a second. Welcome in, guys. Okay. There we go. And well, we're just going to shrink this down a little bit. We're going to put it right back over my head. Yeah, I was fucking with the hoping I could go vertical or horizontal because I'd have more real estate to work with screen wise, but everything's too small now. So that doesn't really work very well. So sorry about that, folks. But we'll get things squared away here. Just give me a moment. I may have to, yeah, I'm just going to have to work that out. So, all right, we're going to go back live on TikTok now. So thanks for your patience, everybody. I will be much larger for those on. Yeah, see, it works fine on YouTube, but not so well on TikTok. All right. So thanks for hanging in there, folks. Sometimes you just got to experiment while you're here, right? All right. Gotta sit back a little. So we're just going to adjust things up a little bit. You guys are seeing everything, a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. Okay. I'm back in. Okay. Okay. I think that's a little bit better. All right. Sorry about that, folks. All right, that's better. And let's give folks on YouTube the TikTok chat. All right. So let me fix that part of it. There we go. Okay. And then we can probably move it closer to the, just so it doesn't look so weird. Okay, well, widescreen. We're there. Okay. On the YouTube side, YouTubers, how does the TikTok chat screen look? TikTok chat cutout look. How's that look, everybody? Thank you, RPP222. Hello. So how's the chat window look from TikTok YouTubers? Is that big enough? Can you read it? It cuts at my mouth? I'm not sure what that means. Oh, well, yeah, I wanted to cut at my mouth only because I want you to just see the text. I just want to know if the text is big enough. I don't want you to see my whole face twice. Chat window is readable. Okay, that's all I needed to know. Perfect. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I'm using OBS. And so I'm just, getting familiar with the, because I was experimenting a little bit. I was hoping to go widescreen, but widescreen just doesn't really work very well. Not on a phone, at least. All right, it's good enough. You guys can read it. That's all that really matters. Okay. So, I'm going to make it a tiny bit bigger so you can see the kick poll voting as it transpires. So, you're going to see a little bit of my nose. Sorry. I wish I could change that somehow, but I really can't. Unless I go faceless, but okay. Looks good on this side. All right. Okay, we're good. Okay, very good. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. Thanks for your patience. So my numbers might suffer a little bit since this is like the third time I restarted. So numbers might suffer a little bit today, but that's okay. All right. So welcome in. Happy Monday. Happy MLK Day. Happy MLK Day. So hope everyone's having a good MLK Day. I spent the morning creating content, and so that was my morning. That was my day so far. And so what we're looking for is evidence that God is real. So if you are and I did a little bit of a change. We're going to bump it to 30 minutes today. Reason being is I'm going to use a bit more discretion. So then if it veers off where I don't want it to go, I'm just going to drop people. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be less giving on conversations. So So from the chat side, the mechanism still works. You'll still have the opportunity to vote and all that stuff. You'll affect the outcome, and you have more control of the outcome. I'm just doing more of the control of the process. So this looks good. So come on up, and the keyboard warriors, you're welcome here, because you know what? You make my numbers better. So go ahead and talk mess all you want in the chat. But it kind of goes to show that you might not have the intellectual boots for this hike. So maybe that's where you belong, in chat. All right, so no guest requests yet. So if you want to request up, just tap the little pink and blue people on the YouTube side, that little icon. And if you're on the YouTube side, you'll need to go to the link that is above my head. Okay. So, welcome in, everybody, again. So, hope everyone had a good weekend. I've had a very good weekend. Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Goblin. Goblin with all the Go Populars and the gold boxing gloves. We met the first goal. So we're going to have a 15-minute discussion with our first guest. So the first guest will have a 15-minute window to talk, because we already met the goal due to Goblin. So appreciate you. That's very kind of you. Goblin Brain. And so also just mind the mods here. The mods are in control of the chat. They control that part of it, and I control the process of the discussion. So they control the process of the chat. I control the process of the discussion, and everybody else is in control of the outcome. So so request up if you have evidence that your God is real. You're a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah of the Quran. Dark Knights, good to see you. Thanks for the cake slice. Thank you for the gifts. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. And also, good idea. Share the live. Yeah, thank you. So share it out. Long press on your screen, and your entire friends list will come up, and share it out to your friends. And I have some exciting news. Everybody who knows Volsi, Volsi's going to be a co-host this Thursday. So Volsi's going to come on. We're going to co-host. And so that's going to be fun. I think we might venture out a little bit, and because Volsi's thing is he does deconstruction and politics. So we might venture out a little bit into politics, maybe, we may, but it's going to be fun. So I'm really looking forward to it, because I have a lot of respect for Volsi's content. And so it's going to be fun working with Volsi. Yes, this Thursday on this channel. So my live, it'll be around 5 to 5:30 Eastern time. He's just going to pop in when he's ready, but I'm usually on by then. So he's just going to pop right in, and then we're just going to get to it. So it's going to be fun. Can't wait. I'm really excited for that. And so if you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, go ahead and request up, and let's hear your evidence that your God is real. Now, it's interesting because I did some content creation earlier today, and there seems to be a very huge misunderstanding on what an internal critique is. So when we atheists or we agnostics, I'll just lump us all in together, are questioning, for example, God's morality, what we're doing is what's called an internal critique. So we're granting your assumption that your God is real, and then we're examining what reality looks like from that point of view. And then that's when it starts to not make sense. So those are the things I explored in my videos that I created today. So there just seems to be a basic misunderstanding of that. So, and I think part of it is, I think on a certain level, believers understand that, but they're just so desperate to get away from the argument. They don't really want to talk about why they think their beliefs are true. I think that's what it is. I mean, it's a bit of an assumption on my part, but I mean, that's my speculation. And I think that there is a fear to discuss it. They're terrified to discuss it. And, you know, because a lot of people in my comments were trying to shut me down, saying, well, you don't have a right to ask. You can't ground your morality. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even if I couldn't ground my morality, even if I don't know how existence started, that doesn't answer the question. That doesn't say that your God exists. So you still have to demonstrate that your God exists. That's just how it goes. If you make the claim that your God exists and you're going to walk around telling everybody that, prove it. Demonstrate it. It's that easy. So, and I'm actually a non-resistant non-believer. You know, I'll hear the evidence, and if it makes sense, that will probably change my belief. You know, but if you're just shutting people down, or if you're just saying stuff like you just don't want to believe, it doesn't do anything to further to the discussion. It does nothing to further it. I mean, it's just the same with everything else. If you think that if I told you that I have a levitating invisible Lamborghini in my garage, are you just going to accept it as true? No, of course not. You're going to want to see evidence. You're going to want me to prove it. If I make a claim like that, you're going to want proof. So why isn't it the same for your God? Especially if you're going to come to my door, you're going to knock on my door, you're going to spread the good news, you're going to approach me at the store, you're going to bother my kids at school, and have your kids tell my kids to come to their church on Sunday, then demonstrate that your God is real. It's just that simple. Just demonstrate it. It shouldn't be hard, should it? Because if your God really is real, you should have evidence, and it should be true. Not that difficult. All right, so we have our first guest in the queue. So if you're in the guest queue, you have to be 18 or older. You have to be a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. And also, you please have evidence ready that your God is real. And when I say evidence, I don't mean the trees. I don't mean look around. I don't mean you look in the mirror. And I don't mean, what else? What else are some other ones? I don't mean personal experience, because that demonstrates then congratulations, you have just demonstrated every religion out there to be true because they all believe the same thing. So what I mean is evidence that says that your God is real, not that all gods are real. All right, so we have somebody in the box. Let's bring up our first guest. How's it going? How's it going?
Greetings, sir. I'm over 18.
Fantastic. And which God do you believe in?
Krishna.
Krishna?
But I believe all the other gods too. Yeah.
You believe in every God?
I believe, I believe there's liberating scriptures for every walk of life.
Okay. Do you believe in a mind that created the universe?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do it by logic, you can just look at like spring, summer, fall, winter. It's very deliberate. There's no real accident in the way that the universe is arranged and by the cycles that we're interfacing.
All right, hold on. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Okay. Well, I guess you did answer my question. What's your evidence that your God is real? And it's the cycles?
No, by logic, I could tell you, yeah, the cycles of just
By logic?
even the seasons are very deliberate.
Okay. Well,
There's no accident there. It's not a freak arrangement. It's a process. It's something that creates life support, and life support is something that's very difficult to replicate.
what? Okay. So if I'm hearing you right, you're saying that because life support is difficult to replicate, therefore God? That sounds like a God of the gaps.
Yeah, there's obviously some deliberate intention there to support life, but that's just by the logic side. I mean, I would my personal arguments go back thousands of years.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, which one do you want to go with? Because you've brought up the logic and then the personal arguments, but let's just explore one because I think that's what we have time for. So, which one do you want to go with?
Okay, well, for instance, like if you go to a historic site like the pyramids in Egypt, their scriptures can still be translated that they were worshiping Rama and Osiris.
Okay.
And they basically lined their pyramids up cosmologically. They were definitely more in tune with the cycles of the earth and astronomy. And it was their whole intention to get out of the cycle of birth and death. And they would mummify their bodies, they would wrap amulets, they would perform pujas and ceremonies and rituals to basically keep safe passage for their body after death.
Yeah, I don't.
And even if you go into Sanskrit like that, after that, the whole language is a metaphysical language of yoga, of yoking, which confirms that we're all stuck here in the cycle of samsara, which is birth and death. We're actually original immortal beings who have been placed into this mortal realm.
I'm hearing
simple nature.
I'm hearing a lot of claims, but I'm not hearing a lot of like actual evidence. Like you've just kind of stacked claims on top of each other.
The whole entire language of Sanskrit is a metaphysically based language that was here 5,000 years ago. That is basically centers around self-realization.
What's a metaphysical language? Hang on. What exactly is a metaphysical language?
It's pointing to you the nature of the soul. It's pointing to you different states of purification. It's pointing to you rituals and pujas to perform to please gods.
Okay.
It's so ancient and it's been around for so long. What to speak of all the deities and
hold on. All languages have that though. So that means all languages are metaphysical.
Not
because Chinese has that. Precision. Yeah, we can find everything that you just listed. We can find in every language. So that makes every language metaphysical. But which means that none of them are.
I believe there's liberating scriptures for every walk of life. So
okay. If
whatever walk of life you're in, you're going to find a
well, sure, that's what you believe, but how is that evidence?
Islam to Christianity,
yeah. Well, how is
Eastern Hinduism?
How is your belief evidence? How is your belief evidence? Because you said I believe that it all contains that.
It's telling exact stories about when Krishna was on the planet, when Allah was on the planet, when Jesus was on the planet. There's Bibles, there's Qurans, there's Torahs, there's Bhagavad Gitas, there's Vedas.
Okay, so we can't distinguish anything from that, though. We can't really distinguish any. Yeah, I can't really distinguish anything from that. I don't see how that's evidence at all.
Yeah, because you're simple-minded. You don't have a complex thinking process.
Ooh, we immediately switched to meta. Okay, so I'm simple-minded. Right. So you're big brained, right? So that's what you're telling me. You're big brained, and you just get this.
Yeah, I know what evidence is. Yeah, you don't.
What is evidence then? What is the definition of evidence?
Evidence is pyramids with scriptures.
That's not what evidence. Exactly that's not the definition of evidence. So here, track harder. What is the definition of evidence?
Billions of religious people around the world.
Okay.
Billions.
Okay, you got to engage. You got to engage in my question, Truth Eternal. What is the definition of evidence? You can't just say whatever you want to say. If you want to, bro, if you want to just spout shit, just go start your own live. But if you want to have a conversation, you got to engage with my question. So could you please define evidence? I mean, if you want to go and just
Yeah,
blabber,
just
just
from
go
a
start your
simple
own line.
a
But
nutshell is that it's just a phenomena. It's just phenomena within the sphere of knowledge that points to a specific truth or points to a specific outcome. That's all it is, evidence. It's not anything else other than suppositions about outcomes. That's exactly what outcomes.
suppositions
You
about
like to take the
outcomes.
word, you like to color it, you like to obscure it into something that is not. No, that's exactly what evidence is. A pyramid that was worshiping God with scriptures of and
Okay.
deities of
So when we look
Osiris
at
and
the
Rama
definition of
and
evidence,
seeing
it
all of that
says
is
the available
evidence to
body of
what
facts
we're
or
worshiping
information
God.
indicating whether a belief or proposition is true or valid. So it's a body of facts or information. So you're equating facts and information to phenomena.
Right. So we have this pyramid phenomenon where they were worshiping Osiris and Rama,
Okay, that's not
and
answering my
somehow you
question.
think that they were in
It's
delusion.
so
They were lining up
you're not
pyramids
answering my question.
cosmologically,
So here's the
and you're
deal. You
saying,
got to
"Oh, they
answer my
think we're in
question, or
delusion."
else then you're just talking past me. You're just saying what you want to say.
No,
And
you're not
again,
equipped.
if
You're
you
not
want
equipped
to,
to deal
all
with
right.
somebody like me who knows the history of the
Oh,
world.
got it. Okay, you know the history of the world. Okay, so
Yeah.
explain this, big guy. So what you're saying then is if you're God, so if all gods exist, all right. So then in that sense, what is the nature? So every God exists that's ever been created. Is that what you're saying? Every God that's been mentioned exists. So we have thousands and thousands of gods, even though they contradict one another. That's what you're telling me. They all exist.
Yeah, I believe there's liberating scriptures for every walk of
There's
life.
liberating
Apply that
scriptures for
throughout
what the
the
fuck does
entire
even that
world.
mean? That's just okay. So what the hell does even that
It means
mean?
for the Chinese, they have a source of Buddhism. For the Indians, they have a
Okay.
source of Hinduism. For the Arabs, they have a source of
Okay.
Muslim.
So when
For
Allah,
Christians, they have a
Allah
source of the Bible.
says there is no God but Allah, was that the truth or is that not true?
Yeah, I think that's a misinterpretation. I think
That's a
I think
misinterpretation.
those
And
are
what is your evidence?
statements.
What is the evidence of the misinterpretation?
Yeah, when they say I'm the truth of
What is the
the only
evidence
the
of
truth,
the
the way, and the life, things
misinterpretation?
like
How
that.
did you determine it's a misinterpretation? Because what this sounds like is you're just
I
living
just
in on your little fantasy world. It's not, you haven't even given me a
no,
shred of
that's
evidence.
just a pedantic point used to keep people who are not in true
Okay, then
Brahmanism to keep
then
them out,
demonstrate
to
the
keep them from
evidence.
wrestling.
What is the evidence that this was a misinterpretation? Provide evidence, sources.
Oh, well, the source is that in my heart that I feel that
In
there's
your
liberating
heart that you
scriptures
feel,
for every
and then
walk
how
of
did you
life.
determine that in your
There's
heart that it's
liberating
right?
scriptures for every walk of
And
life.
in your
That's
heart,
the
how did you
evidence.
determine that it is true? In your heart, how did you determine
Because
that's
there's
true?
liberating scriptures for every walk of
And
life.
how does that demonstrate that what's in your heart is true?
Because every human being here has some source of liberation.
Every human being has some source of liberation, which is completely irrelevant. What I want to
Which
hear
points to the
is
Torah,
the
which points
evidence.
to the Bhagavad Gita, which
All
points to
right,
the
you're
Quran,
just
which points to the
wasting
Bible.
time. Okay, that's a waste of time. So, yeah, it's just when it's just funny when just disillusioned people come up and they just say, "Well, I have the secret to everything. I have the answers to everything," and he's just like, "You're just simple-minded. You just don't understand." I mean, just the narcissism is just astounding. The narcissism that it takes to say something like that. It's just crazy. Just craziness. So I feel in my heart that it's right because we have what the fuck does that even mean? Like, what the fuck does any of that even mean? It's just, oh my goodness. It's just like, yeah. So it's just nonsense. It's just complete nonsense. If it doesn't make sense, it's nonsense. You can't make sense out of nonsense. So I asked for the evidence and he said, "Well, I feel in my heart." So feelings are facts. That's what this guy was trying to say. Feelings are facts. All right. So that was fun. So yeah, as you see, I'm going to be a little bit more discerning about like where the conversation goes. If it just goes in a circle like that, if it just goes in if it just like, I'm just going to have less tolerance for nonsense. So that was just all right. So if you're in the guest queue, please be at least 18 years old. Please be a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. And if you're believe in a mind that created the universe, yeah, I'm going to vet you a lot harder. So, and if you sound like that last guest, I'm just going to drop you because it's just a waste of time to talk about nonsense. Because it's just everything is just unfalsifiable. It is because I say it is. I say so. And then lastly, have evidence ready that your God is real. All right. And not related to personal experience. Or if you do want to cite personal experience, you're going to have to demonstrate why your personal experience is more true than everybody else's and every other religion's personal experience is true. So you're going to have to be prepared to have that conversation. All right. So we'll go to the next guest. How's it going?
Hello. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for waiting. So how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 30 years old.
All right. And which God do you believe in?
I believe in the God of the Bible, but I think there's two parts in proving or offering evidence for the existence of your God. First is you have to offer evidence that a God does really exist with all the classical attributes.
I agree.
And then part B is to find among all those gods who claim to be God, who is the most consistent with those classical attributes. So
Okay.
so
let's start with let's just start with the pieces of evidence. The best piece of evidence that you had. Let's just start with that.
Okay. I think for this 30 minutes, I'm just gonna focus on the first part to prove that there is a God with all the classical attributes: immutable, unchanging, timeless. Okay, is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So this is going to be following Aristotle's uncaused cause, or the pure actuality argument for the existence of God. So anything that happen will have its reason. Okay, so say for example, I have my coffee. My coffee is going from hot temperature going down in temperature. Okay, so it's getting cold. It's getting cooler. So there's two ways of offering a chain of causation for that happening. One is the first one is called temporal causation, which goes back in time. So the coffee gets cooler because I turned off the AC. I'm sorry, I turned on the AC earlier, and that caused the room to get cooler. And that the AC was turned on earlier because in the first place, because I had an AC which I bought from last month. So as you can see, the causation goes back in time.
All right.
So there's also another way.
Let me clarify. So are you claiming that all real events require a prior sufficient cause, or just like classical events on the whole? You saying like every real event, or just events on the whole?
Yeah, just event that. First, let's define an event. An event is something that is a potential, initially a potential that crossed into an actuality.
Yeah.
So
it's a potential a potential that hit reality. Yeah. So something that really happened, an event. Yeah.
Yeah. That became an actual. Yeah, that's an event.
I agree with that. Okay. I agree with that. All right.
Okay.
So you're saying that these events, events as a whole, so this is a universal principle, the uncaused cause.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, go ahead.
That's part. That's the first kind of causal chain that you can offer.
Okay.
Is to go back in time.
All right.
So this causation is called per accidence because, for example, if I'm the one who turned on the AC earlier, right? Even if Thanos snapped me out of existence, the coffee would still get cooler because the room temperature has gone cooler. So that means I can go out of existence. Part of that causal chain can go out of existence, but still the event would still pursue. So that's why it's called per accidence. So the other kind of causation that you can offer is to disregard time. So for example, the change in coffee occurred because number one, because the room temperature got cooler.
Yeah.
Okay. Why did that happen? Or no, let's just go to that. So why did the room temperature get cooler? Oh, because the excitement in the the atoms, the excitement of the particles or the electrons in the atoms, the energy has gone lower.
Okay.
So that's the reason why. And why did that happen? Because there's a law that excess excitement or excess energy would disperse in the neighboring atoms. So why did that happen? Oh, because, and then you go down to that level. So in this kind of causation, this is called a hierarchical causation, not a temporal one, because it does not need to go back in time.
Okay.
So or even you can even say that why did the coffee went down in its temperature? Because it stayed in its place, therefore allowing it to be influenced by the neighboring particles. Okay. So you have a question.
All right. Yeah. So let me kind of jump in. So if it's universal, this principle is universal, Chester, that means that I only need to find one thing that breaks it, right?
Sure.
Okay. So have you heard of the term called spontaneous symmetry breaking?
Is this in the quantum level?
No, actually it's not necessarily. I mean, it could be, but it's not necessarily. It's like everyday examples. So if we have, say, if we're able to stand a pencil on its tip, all right.
I'm sorry, repeat that. I'm sorry.
If you stand a pencil on its tip, like if you put a pencil on its very tip, it's gonna fall, right?
Right.
It's gonna fall. Okay, so it can fall in any direction. Well, see, the problem is it doesn't. It falls in any direction, and nothing chooses the direction. No force makes it go left or right. Just one direction just happens, and it's spontaneous. It just happens. So there's no cause of it falling to the right or to the left or forward or backward. It just happens. So that would be an example of an uncaused cause.
Yes. Okay? And that's
so that by definition that just breaks the entire principle. So there are uncaused causes.
Because if you were talking pencil, you're talking about a physical thing, and physical thing has geometric exactness limitation. So if you are going to think of a hypothetical, like a virtual pen that has a perfect tip, like has an infinitesimal surface area for its tip, and you have the perfect condition,
I never said there was a perfect condition. We can demonstrate it with just a pen. You can just take a pen, you can put it on its tip, and it's going to fall in a direction, and it's not going to fall in the same direction every time, right? You can just try to stand it on its tip. It's not going to stand on its tip because it's a pen, it's a rounded edge, and it's going to fall in different directions. So I'm asking you, what makes it fall in the direction that it falls? Because it's going to fall in a different direction almost every time.
That's true. Okay, so
what causes it to fall in that particular direction?
I can list physical reasons why it chose or the pencil fell into a particular direction. Like there's an unevenness. If you use a microscope and look at your table surface, there's going to be an unevenness on it because these are made of, for example, the texture of the table. If it's wooden, it will have grains on it.
No. What you misunderstand. What I'm saying to you is that what causes it to fall in the exact direction that it falls for that instance. So it could be uneven, but that doesn't explain why it falls in that particular direction. So if it falls towards you, what's the reason it fell towards you? You're just citing because that's the same reason that it falls to the left, to the right, forward, backward, all those directions. Everything that you're citing is the unevenness of the table, the weight of the pen. Maybe it's not manufactured perfectly. It could be a little bit. But see, the thing is that there's nothing that explains why it would cause it to fall to the left this time. Can you explain why it does that? So like if you take a pen and it falls to the left, why did it particularly fall to the left? And then when you pick it up again and you try to set it on its tip, it falls to the right. Why did it fall to the right? So
Yeah, there's
so
plenty of
that's
reasons to. I'm sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead.
but that's not what the principle of uncaused cause is. It's the direct event preceding the it's something that directly precedes the event. Not that you see, you're describing the conditions in which falling happens, but that's not what the uncaused cause is. It's something directly causing the pen to fall. And you're not
Yeah,
and you have no explanation for that.
I do understand your
Yeah.
your claim that there's no apparent, or there's no actual reason why the pen would, or why the pencil would tip over to which direction it
Yeah,
would
yeah. So that
But
by
I don't think
definition that destroys the whole
I don't
uncaused
think
cause. Now, if we go to the quantum level, yeah, and then we can pick out things from the quantum level, because, like, for example, radioactive decay. What causes radioactive decay?
well, radioactive decay. Well, let's just go back first to the pencil. I see what you mean by that, but your illustration with like a real person holding that pen and trying to balance it, well, it could be just the shakiness of his fingers, the angle that he lets go of it. That could really cause changes, because these are physical things
Okay.
that interact with each other.
Okay, so if it's the same table, if it's the same pen, and it's the same person holding the pen, all right. So if all the conditions are the same, and that person tries to balance the pen 1,000 times, is it going to fall in the same direction every time?
No,
No,
because
exactly.
yeah,
So
there's a
again,
reason for it.
but those are and that's what I mean. Those are the conditions. The person's shape of the person's fingers, how strong they are, the shape of the pen, the weight of the pen, the table, if it's slightly tilted or something like that. So those are the conditions. All right. What I'm talking about is, because the uncaused cause isn't talking about conditions. It's basically, because what you're basically saying is there's a hand of God that's causing things to happen, right? So what is the hand that is causing it to fall in one direction and then fall in a different direction? There is a direct preceding cause that's doing this, and that's the thing you can't explain. You're talking about the conditions. I'm saying not the conditions, the actual cause.
That's why I'm approaching it like from the bottom up. So first, I gave an example, and I did not anywhere claim that the hand of God is going to cause this. Okay, so I'm just trying to get you to look into the nature of change, and that all changes in the world, all events, has its cause.
Okay.
So
So again, if we're looking at the pen example, standing up on its end, where is the change if all of the conditions are the same?
Okay, so let's first of all, I already demonstrated something that's called a temporal causation. So, and then the next part is called hierarchical causation. That removes time. Okay, that removes time into question. So you are just going to take one slice of that event. So, for example, that you don't need to compare that pen falling to this direction or to that direction to other occasions of this pen falling to other occasion, falling to which particular direction. You just need to take one single event of that pen falling to direction. So let's look into that.
Yeah.
Similar to the coffee observation, there's something that caused why this pen, let's say, it fell 90 degrees to the left. Okay, it fell back. We don't have to compare that to other pen falling. Let's just look into that one single event. Okay, so it fell to the right. Why did it fall to the right?
Right.
Okay, the gravitational pull. The gravitational pull
that's a condition
of the Earth.
That's a condition, yeah.
Okay.
Because that's a constant condition. You would agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a condition.
It's a constant.
That's the condition
in this scenario. Yeah, it's a constant. Okay.
Okay. Good,
because again, with if the gravitational pull is constant, and so because we're not comparing the events of why it fell this way versus that way necessarily. What I'm saying is that if the conditions are all unchanging, you would agree the pen will fall in different directions every time. Yeah.
Yeah. But Perfect. This time we are just observing one event. So there's not even a question of it falling into a different direction because we are just singling out this singular event.
Yeah.
So it is being caused by the gravity of the Earth. Next, why is there a gravity of the Earth? Oh, because higher mass of objects in space.
Well, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt, because there's an important distinction. Is the gravity of the Earth and all these other conditions, is it causing the pen to fall? Not necessarily in a direction, but it's causing it to fall, right?
True.
You would agree that causing it to fall is different than the reason for causing it to fall in a direction. That's what I'm specifically getting at. So what causes it to fall in a specific direction?
Okay, so it fell.
And how do you distinguish it from just merely considering it causing it to fall? Because those are two different things, right?
Okay, so the fall of the object is determined by its center of gravity, right?
Yeah, that's what causes it to fall. Yeah, but I'm talking about falling in a direction. So what causes it? So in this case, you're saying 90 degrees to the right, right? Let's just say that's what it is. So how do you distinguish between things that cause it to fall and things that cause it to fall 90 degrees to the right? What's the distinction?
Well, if you look at it, the pencil is not one single object. It's made up of many particles, right?
Absolutely. So what causes it to fall in the? I just need to know what causes it to fall in that direction. That's all I need to know.
Good.
Versus what causes it to fall. What's the distinction?
All of those, if you are going to think of it like all particles falling with respect to the center of gravity, then it's just falling. It's not even a direction of the fall. All of them just fell.
Yeah, but with respect, I agree with you. I want to know what caused it to fall 90 degrees to the right, not just cause it to fall.
Because there's more particles, more atoms, which is tipping it to the right, because the pencil is not perfectly manufactured.
Okay, so then that means it should tip to the right every time, 1,000 times. Well, if that's what the reason is, then it should cause it to fall to the right every time, right?
Yeah, in perfect condition.
But it doesn't do that.
It doesn't do that because the next occasion that you try to balance this pen, you might have rotated it a little bit to the left.
Okay, let's just say we didn't. Let's just say the wind didn't change. Because what you're telling me is if we control the conditions as best as we can. So let's just say we have a pencil, we weigh it, and we determine that there are slightly more atoms on this side than this side, and there's no wind. Okay, the table is the table. The gravitational force is the gravitational force. We set up a machine to give it just enough weight in order to hold it up. So that is the same. So we control for all the constants. Are you telling me that if we control for every single possible constant we can get it to fall in a certain direction every time? Because I don't believe that.
In this particular situation, you will have to respect the law of large numbers. You will have to try that occasion, like in a million times.
Yeah, do it. I mean, you could. There's an acceptable sample, right? You could do like 5,000 times. Are you telling me that there's a difference between 5,000 and a million?
If you want to be more accurate, the higher sampling occasions would be much preferable, right?
Well, according to statistics, there's a part of diminishing returns, right? Because then what you do is you taint the sample, because then you're going to have like a large number of outliers. So there's a certain amount of times that you can do this where your confidence level it's going to be within the confidence level range, right? So like it's not, if you can do it within 95% confidence level, and then you'll have your outliers. So if you draw the graph like this, then you'll have your outliers over here. You'll have everything within the graph. But if you do it even if you do it a million times, that's fine. But it's all going to be statistically the same, right? So it's not really necessary to do it a million times. It's probably maybe 5,000 times. But
because even if perfect
okay, let me just go with your example. We'll just do it a million times. And what you're telling me, though, is that this million times, it's going to fall to the right every time. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, with all the conditions that you suppose. Well,
Come on now.
Every time
Come
in
on.
this physical
No.
world, in this yeah, I understand.
No.
In
No,
this
no, no, no.
physical world, okay,
That's
in
not
this
true.
physical world, let me continue. Let me finish
Okay.
this. In this physical world, it's not going to happen. That it's going to, but
There we
it
go.
would be the more perfect the laboratory, the more the more stable the hand that lets it go, the more it would stick to the probability of
Well,
a higher probability of falling to the right.
I'll do it like that. I'll agree with you on this part. That it will like if all the atoms are slightly, you know, like you were saying, if they're slightly to the right, if they're on the right side of the pencil and it's weighted slightly to the right, I would agree. I would go so far as to agree is that it will fall to the right more times than it would say to the left or this or that, right? I'll go with you on that. And that's probably a way to determine, oh, that's how we know, that's how we can confirm that there are more atoms on this side.
Yeah.
But the thing you can't explain is that's when the other events become significant, because you can't explain. Like if I pick a specific event, like an outlier, I'm going to ask you to explain, well, what is the reason it fell to the left this time? If I just pick an outlier. Now, what would your explanation be for that? If all of the other constants are the same? Yeah.
If we are interacting with the physical world, you will have to live an area for a margin of error, right?
Of course, there's a margin of error, but that's what I mean, is that if there's an uncaused cause, what is the cause?
Yeah, the cause of it is even if you make it out of like a titanium table where there is not much grain or surface indentations, still, if you go to the molecular level, it's not going to be even.
Right. And so that's what the uncaused cause principle is. That's what I mean.
The reason for the deviation from the statistics.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. What I'm saying though is that the uncaused, but I think what you're missing is that the uncaused cause means that there is a cause for every event, not just the ones you want to pick out. So there is a specific reason that it fell as an outlier to the way you didn't expect. And that's what I'm asking you. You have to cite the exact reason that it happened. And if all the conditions are the same, it's not enough to say, well, that's just because of, statistical outliers and things. That's not the reason. That's not the cause. You're explaining the reason, but you're not explaining the cause.
You do agree that in this physical world that we exist.
Oh, your sound went like I can barely hear you. Yeah, there we go. There we go. You were covering your mic. Okay. You do agree? I do agree what? That's the last I heard.
Yeah, you do agree that in this physical world you can't really replicate two events to happen again.
Well, then that kind of proves, I agree. And that kind of proves my point, is that because that would mean that if everything has a cause, you have to demonstrate that everything has a cause.
Okay.
And that's why I'm asking you to demonstrate that when it falls as an outlier to the other side, as we don't expect, if we expect the pencil to fall to the right and it falls to diagonally left, you have to explain why. What is the cause?
The cause of that happening. So this is the cause of that, because the situation, the physical milieu or the physical background in that second time that you try to balance that pen is entirely different. The only way that you can get the same exact condition is if you went back in time or stopped time.
Okay.
So that's why.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, so then what you're saying then is, even if we had measurements in which we balance the pencil exactly what it needs to be. So let's just say we want to balance it exactly perpendicular to the table. So we measure it and it's 90 degrees, right? The tip of the pen is 90 degrees at a 90-degree point to the table, right? It's perfectly perpendicular. And we measure that and it happens every time. Now, I would agree with you that it's not going to be perfect. The measurement, it won't be perfect. We may be off by, thousandths of a degree, right?
Yeah.
We may be, because the instruments are perfect. Our measurements we're not perfect. Okay. I'll go with you on that. However, if it's just say 90 point, and if we were expecting it to fall to our right. Okay. And let's just say we set it up one time and let's just say the degree of angle is 90.0000000000001 to 90.000000001, which means that it's just ever so slightly, tilted towards 91 degrees. Just, fractions, right? Which means that according to this, it should still, and let's just say it falls forward. Then what is the cause? Because again, we're expecting it to fall to the right because of all the conditions we set up. The conditions are constant. We've done the measurements the best we can and agreed, not perfect, but you would also agree that there's going to be outliers, right? Correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so that's what I mean, is you have to explain the outliers. What is the cause of the outliers? Because again, if the uncaused cause principle is for every event, there is a cause. So what is the cause for that event? That's what I'm asking you. You see what I'm saying?
So for those things that you say are outliers, the question is, did they happen because of a cause or not? Did they have a cause for that event? Even the outliers has causes.
Well, according to you, there is a cause.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm asking you. What is the cause? That's how we test it, right?
Okay, so my entire business here is not to prove what cause. I don't even have the exact science of how things happen, but just to claim that all event that happens has a cause. No matter what it is, it has to have a cause.
Yeah, that's what the principle of uncaused cause is. Every event has a cause.
Yeah, well, I only have 5 minutes and I don't think I can get through, but I do appreciate the conversation.
Okay.
But let me just go forward with it. So let's say thing has a cause. So the thing that caused a potential to be actual has to be pushed to that actuality by something that's already actual. We agree with that? Okay.
Yeah. But see, this is the thing. I'm pushing back on your first premise, because if everything has a cause, but we don't know what that cause is, you can't say, well, it has a cause, we just don't know what it is. No, you have to know what the cause is. Because if everything has a cause, you have to demonstrate that it has a cause, right? Well, so that's what I'm doing. I'm pushing back on premise one. And like I said, that just destroys the entire argument. Because if premise one's not true, then the rest of it's not true, right?
And I appreciate that with you. Well, you don't have to understand the cause of thing happening to say that it has a cause, do you?
Yeah, you do.
Well, if I say
that's the entire point of it. Yeah, you have to, because like I said, there are things that I
disagree with that.
Well, but that's the other thing, is that if you look at because this is what I encourage you to do. I know we have like 3.5 minutes left, but what I encourage you to do is kind of look at, there's just sample examples in physics that they found of things that don't have a cause. It's not that they don't know, it's that they have determined there is no cause. And so just like I said, radioactive dating, things that radioactive decay, no cause. Atoms, two similar atoms, like two radioactive atoms that are both the same, plutonium, they will have different states of decay, like different times they decay. It's not exactly the same. So what causes one to decay at one point and what causes one to decay at another point? Even atoms so what causes that? There is no cause. They just know that they do. So that just completely destroys the uncaused cause principle.
Well, not yet, because we are limited in our studies, right? Yeah, we are limited in our studies.
Okay, yes. So I will go with you on that, because I am a fallibilist. So yes. So I'm not saying the jury's, it's all settled. We're 100%. No, yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're talking about evidence here, right? Evidence versus proof. So that's what I'm asking for, is evidence. And so my evidence that uncaused cause isn't true is radioactive dating. The pencil standing up experiment, that it won't fall in the same direction every time, and there's no cause for that. That's my evidence. So I have two pieces of evidence, and so far you have none. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
I understand. I
Okay.
understand. Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
And I think I understand why we diverge, why you think there's no evidence. I haven't offered any evidence because my evidence is like metaphysical or like philosophical, while you maintain that the evidence that you should only accept is something that should happen or should be demonstrable in the physical world. So
It
yeah,
should.
that's why we speak past each other,
Well,
or at least
the
go
reason
ahead.
why, yeah, the reason why, Chester, is because you would agree that there are causes in the physical world, right? It's just not metaphysical, not just metaphysical. It's physical too.
Yeah, but when I say metaphysical, is that I go to the realm of logic.
Yeah,
In this
I understand.
time. So
I understand,
when you
but
go to the realm of logic, you have to account for theoretical events that might not respect physical limitations.
in a way, yes, you do. In a way. However, if you're saying this is a principle, right? That the uncaused cause is a principle, that means that it works, it works a majority of the time, or it works every time. It's like a law,
Yeah.
right? Yet if we have two examples in which it doesn't work, then it's not a principle. That's all I'm
Well,
saying.
it did happen because it was majority of the time.
Mm.
Yeah. Didn't we say that if the conditions were perfectly replicated,
I would go with you on
it
this.
would fall majority of the time to the 90 degrees to the right.
Well,
Did we agree on that? Yeah, we did agree on that.
A majority of the time. But what I'm
Yeah.
asking, but see, the problem is if it's a principle and you're just saying there is an uncaused cause, what that at least implies is that for every event there is, and you did agree with me on that, for every event there is an uncaused cause, right? And so that means that we, like I said, we can go back and look at the outliers and we can say what caused that. And it can't be the same reasons as what made it fall to the right, right? You'd agree with that. There has to be a specific reason that it fell forward this time. What is that exact reason?
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
My time is up. I'd like to take the time to thank all those who gave, like, what are these coins?
Yeah.
165.
Yeah, you got 165 coins because you're you were just, it was a very good argument. I mean, yeah, I enjoyed conversing with you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a follower and I've been listening to you for a while now. So yeah, thank you.
Well, thanks. Thanks, Chester. Okay, well, hey, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for coming up. It was good talk.
Well. Happy MLK.
All right, take care. Happy MLK. All right. Yeah, that was a good conversation though. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is if you're talking about the uncaused cause, that means every event. And see, that was when that's kind of what he was kind of going with. Yes, Ruha, I'll bring you up. So that's what I was going with, is that if every event, that's what the principle of uncaused cause is. Every event has a cause. Okay. So that means that all we have to do is just find one event where there's no cause. And that destroys the entire thing. That's it. So I know it took us 30 minutes to get there, but he was nice. And so, wanted to give it a chance and, discuss it out and talk it out. But yeah. So, but again, Aristotle came up with this principle, 2,000-3,000 years ago, whatever it was, and didn't have physics to go with. So, if we're talking about metaphysical things like that, well, that's the thing. Physics kind of destroyed a lot of metaphysical findings because we ran these experiments and we found this stuff out. And so it kind of doesn't apply anymore. Okay. So we do have, all right, we'll bring up Ruhan next, although I do have somebody in the YouTube queue. So hang tight. And, so hang tight. All right. We'll bring up Ruhan next. How's it going, Ruhan?
Hello.
How you doing?
Oh, happy to be here.
Good. All right.
I don't. You gonna take it easy on me, or you gonna make me work for it again?
Oh, I'm gonna make you work for it every time.
My wife was very happy to meet you the other day.
Oh, well, that's very kind.
So
wow.
I really do appreciate you.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate you on that. So, but the uncaused cause argument, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But wouldn't the argument be that the pencil falls in the first place?
Yeah, it does. It's just that what the uncaused cause says though is that every event has a cause. So that means though then that if the pencil falling, yes, that's an event. Yet you would agree that every time it falls, it's an event and it falls in a different direction every time. So what then the next question you would ask is, okay, well, what caused it to fall? You can say, oh, well, it's the angle of the table, or it was, the table's a little jagged, or, gravity, all that. The problem with that, Ruha, is that explains the pencil falling. It doesn't explain the direction it falls. That's the problem. It's the direction. It's not the fact that it falls. Does that make sense?
Well, wouldn't this be the same? Yeah. Well, wouldn't this be the same argument as the coffee cup getting cold? We're saying that it got cold, not the degree of how cold it got.
Oh boy.
So that doesn't mean what angle it fell. It's just the fact that it fell.
We have somebody produce jellyfish, so I gotta send you back down. So sorry about that, Ruha. Yes, somebody bought jellyfish. I'm not sure, but I gotta send you down. So that's the rule. I don't know, but hey, I appreciate you coming up. All right, so have a good one.
What?
Try again another day. Yeah, somebody bought jellyfish. I gotta send you back down. So have a good day.
Okay.
All right. So somebody bought jellyfish, so that's the rule. Jellyfish removes guest immediately. So we gotta do it. Nothing personal, but that is the, like I said, I control the process, and chat controls outcomes on some things. Mods control outcomes on some things, and guests control outcomes on some things. I just control the process. The process is you buy a jellyfish, it immediately removes the guest. So again, nothing personal. So that's what it means to control the process, not the outcome. That's what that means. Okay. So we'll move on to our next guest, who is in the YouTube queue. So give me a second to pull you in. Okay. Properties. Okay. All right, guest, you should be in, so we should be able to hear you. How's it going? Can you hear me, guest? YouTube guest. How about now? I think you're muted. There we go. How's it going, guest? Can you hear me? Guest, can you say something? Can you hear me?
Hello?
How about this time? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. All right. Very good. All right.
Okay, cool.
Thanks for
you before, so I guess we're doing good now.
Yeah. I had to push an extra button on my end. I'm good. Thanks for waiting. Appreciate you. All right. We got a couple of rules. I just got to follow TikTok terms of service. I know you're on YouTube, but I'm streaming on TikTok as well. So how old are you?
I'm 28 years old.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you for saying that. Okay. Well, thanks for waiting. Thanks for joining. Now I want to talk to people who believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. So which God do you believe in?
Oh man, you might have to kick me. I just believe in a metaphysical sort of theism.
So
that's probably not going to be as interesting to your audience. I could make an argument, but you're probably okay. I didn't know that.
Well, hey, listen, join my Discord because you can cite your arguments there, and we can have a discussion there. I just won't be here right now, but it'll be a little later. And there's other folks there too. Yeah.
So if it's any consolation, some of the arguments I use were adopted by people like the Church Fathers and Islamic theologians. So maybe there's some overlap there. If you want to give it a try, we can still try it out if you want.
Yeah, I think if you go into my Discord, and because I do have a live chat channel, you can go there and talk to some other folks and present your arguments. Okay. Yeah, why don't you do that?
No worries.
All right.
Yep, thank you.
Have a good one. Yeah. So, okay. All right. So, yeah. There's this. So at least one of us likes metaphysics. Exactly. So we've got metaphysics folks in there, and we got pantheists and folks like that. So I think it would be a good place to go to have that discussion, but I really want to talk to theists today. I really, really do. So I think I want to stick to theists and be much more tight with that. That probably would have been a pretty good discussion if I had the stomach for it, but I just don't have the stomach for it today. So nothing personal, but I want to stick to theists. And I spent all weekend because I developed like a shell, like a template to have these conversations, which if you're a $9.99 a month or higher subscriber, you'll have access to that. I'm going to upload it here because I actually made some edits to it, and I'm thinking it's production ready. And so I'm going to publish that, but I made some like tweaks and modifications to it. So I'm feeling pretty confident about it. I used it actually a little bit. I've been using it actually the last few days. And hello, Thera Ember, how are you?
Hello. I have a little bit of a frog in my throat, but otherwise good.
Ribbit.
Yes.
Happy MLK Day. I'm doing well,
yes,
thank you.
You too. Good. Glad to hear it.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you wanting me to do the announcement?
Yes.
All right.
I am Ragizi.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Welcome to Trust But Verifies Live, everyone. We have 111 people in here. Amazing number. We're happy to see you. In this live, you'll experience mostly calm conversations where the spice level can get to about that of a poblano. But if you keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times, we will arrive safely back at the sweet green bell pepper levels. If you haven't yet, please do your heart me's and daily goals. If you long tap the screen, you can repost and share more easily there. And it kind of gets the numbers up a little bit more. And so let's get to 50K likes. We only have 11K to go for that, so that should be pretty easy. We're already over 100 shares, which is amazing.
Awesome.
We're at we're at 117. If we could get to I want to say 150. I think we could definitely do that with over 100 people in here. And so since you guys already saw, we do have a jellyfish. If somebody is up and you want them kicked right away, not me, so don't even try it.
Not going to work, but thank you for the donation. Exactly.
If you don't want somebody up anymore, you can gift a jellyfish. We also have an early kick goal that you can contribute to.
Also not going to work on Ember.
Correct. Yes. And then Trust does have subscriptions on all of his platforms. He is on Twitch and YouTube as Trust But Verify 2024. So take a look at those if you want to find a way to, or figure out a way to support him. And support him in a more, I guess, consistent manner than maybe just every once in a while gifts might be. But we do know how tough things are right now, so please, no, this is literally, Trust never told me to tell you guys this. This is just me because I appreciate Trust as a creator, and I want Trust to be appreciated for the time that he spends on here educating people. So if we, and then we have a Discord. That's right. We have a Discord. The link is in Trust bio. It's for anyone. So it's not just an atheist server. It is for anyone. We're going to kind of start taking it in a newer direction with more education, which I'm really excited about. Don't know exactly what that's going to look like yet, but if you hang out in the Discord, you'll be there to see it. And I think it's going to be a cool thing.
Yeah.
And then one last mod announcement. Please no preaching, praying for non-believers, or being rude in the chat. Please don't use caps lock either. It's how we as mods communicate with the chat and with Trust. So we appreciate your help in keeping the chat clear. Once again, welcome to Trust But Verifies Live. We are glad to see you.
Thank you, Ember. Give them a round of applause. Take a bow, Ember, and all that. So big W's for Ember.
Well,
thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really appreciate you, friend. All right. Have a good one. Okay.
You too.
Yeah. So we have our first super chat of the day. So let's read that real quick. It says here, BTF Wayne, no way to verify two gods exist, one God or zero. And I agree with that. There's I would agree with that. There's no way to prove that no gods exist. There's no way to prove that one God or two gods or any gods exist. And so you would think, oh, well, everybody should be agnostic. Maybe so. Yet here we are. I'm agnostic atheist. We have Gnostic atheists. We have Gnostic Christian, Gnostic theists. We have agnostic theists. It's all over the spectrum. So, that's what the reality we live in. And so part of the fun is, talking to folks who have a belief and seeing where that goes. So, but good comment. I like that. That was a good comment. All right. We have a guest waiting. So let's go ahead and bring them up. But so I'm just doing a little bit of housekeeping. Let's bring them up. Angels of Light. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
34.
34. All right. Fantastic. And which God do you believe in? The God of the Torah, the Bible, or the Quran?
Yeah, I'd say the Bible. But I've got scientific evidence for God.
You got scientific evidence for God. Okay. Well, let's hear it. What's your scientific evidence for God?
It's all the gas laws, the second law of thermodynamics, and gas behavior and entropy.
Okay.
So if we have gas in one chamber, a valve, and then a vacuum on top, we open the valve, the gas rushes into the vacuum.
Okay.
Okay, just like that.
Okay.
So the Earth is claimed to be in an infinite near-perfect vacuum at the moment.
Okay.
So you put the Earth in there, it's still going to seek the vacuum up and away from gravity.
All right.
So your Earth is claimed to be an infinitesimal small dot in an ever-expanding near-perfect vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
If that was true, all the air you're breathing would escape into it. The only way to have our gas pressure we're breathing is with a container.
Okay. One quick question. Why is it then that like all the astrophysicists say there's no evidence of God? Like it's just an overwhelming majority.
Well, that's just an appeal to majority fallacy. So I just presented evidence scientifically that.
Well, what are they missing that you see? Like, what are they missing? That's what I'm asking. It's not a fallacy. It's a question. So we got to have that distinction right. It's a question.
Well, no, it is a fallacy.
Well, it's a question. It's a question, right? I didn't make a statement, Angels of Light. I asked you a question. So
you said, why do
that would be a question, right? I started with why. It's an interrogatory, ends with a question mark. That's a question. That's not a fallacy. Right. So you may not agree with the question.
What they believe.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what astrophysicists believe.
Okay.
What the evidence points to is that the Earth is enclosed.
Okay. So why don't they agree with you?
It doesn't matter if they agree with me or not. If that God exists, I just proved to you that the Earth has to.
No, you haven't proven it to me. You've proven it. Okay. Even if I accept these things, what is it? How do you get to therefore God did this or therefore God exists? So you got to meet that gap.
Yep. If the Earth's an enclosed system, like a giant terrarium, something on the outside would have had to make the Earth.
How so?
Giant terrariums don't show up in nature. They need a creator.
What is your evidence that something made it, or a being made it? There we go.
Hang on. Do you agree that gas pressure requires a container according to all the gas laws?
According to the gas laws, sure. I'm still not sure how that entails a creator.
Okay, so then we're breathing air, so that the Earth is contained.
Okay, and again, how does that demonstrate a creator?
Because we're inside of an enclosed system.
Okay.
So something outside of the system, aka God, would have had to make it.
Agreed. But okay, had to make it. But how did you determine that to be true? What was your method that you verified that? Well, hold on. My question is, what was the method that you used to verify that God created the quote unquote terrarium?
The Earth is created. We just agreed to that, right?
No. Well, not in the not. Okay, then well, we agreed it was created. We don't. What I don't agree with is who or what created it.
Wait. So
because you're saying God created it, I'm saying I don't believe that a God created it. I'm asking you, what method did you use to determine that a mind created it?
So wait, could have God made the Earth if giant terrariums don't show up in nature?
Could have God made the Earth if? Okay, you're ducking my question, so I'm going to ask again. What method did you use to verify that a mind created the Earth?
Wait. So you're agnostic then? You're not atheist?
Okay, I'm going to ask again. What method did you use to verify that a mind created the earth?
See, if we're living, let me answer that. If we're living inside this, okay, if we're living inside of an enclosed system, something outside of the system would have had to make the earth. Or
Yeah.
Okay, so then.
I'm not disagreeing with that part. When I'm saying
that
a
the earth-
mind, how did you verify that a
Hang on,
mind
we'll
did
get to
it?
the mind, We'll get to the mind. We'll get to the mind. You agree with me that the earth is created then, from the evidence I just showed you?
From the evidence that we have, it's gravity. Yeah.
No. From the evidence that I showed you, gas pressure seeks vacuums. Your earth is in an infinite space vacuum. We're breathing air. Your earth is adjacent to a near perfect vacuum. All the air on earth should escape into it, according to the second law.
And there's nothing there that says a mind did that. That's why I'm asking you, how did you verify that a mind did all that? Take me through your steps.
So, hang on.
Take me through your steps on how you verified that a mind did this.
Because every terrarium ever made needs a mind behind it to create it.
Every terrarium ever made needs a mind behind it. Okay. So
Yeah.
what you're saying then, so you're equating that to this being a terrarium. And so you're going by, well, every other terrarium I've seen has a mind behind it. So this one must have also.
Yeah. Yeah. What terrarium do you know of that's been made on Earth that doesn't have someone making it behind it?
There's none. So what I'm asking you is, how do you know that this one? So then, how do you know that this one was made by a mind?
Every terrarium, because every
Because
terrarium
every
is made by a
terrarium,
mind.
because every terrarium is made by a mind. Okay.
You just agreed to that.
Okay. Yeah, every terrarium, and I'm just accepting that you're saying that this is a terrarium. And
No, I just proved it is
what are the
enclosed.
what are the properties of terrarium? So let's just list the properties.
They're enclosed
Okay. Enclosed. All right.
and they have life inside of them.
They have life inside of them. And you're saying
they're
that,
enclosed.
okay, so life inside of them. And how did the life get there? In the
Someone
terrariums
put it
that,
in there.
yeah, someone put it there.
Someone
Okay.
put it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone
Kinda
put
like
it there.
God put us here.
Okay. And then,
It's kinda like God put us there.
well, hold on. So the life inside the terrariums, are you saying, so what instances are, so now were the lives already existing when God put them inside the quote unquote terrarium?
No. When we're talking about terrariums, like the life was already made. Okay. So we're putting that life into a terrarium, and then it's self-sustaining.
Yeah.
By itself.
Okay. So were the lives that
Right.
God put in the terrarium, were they already alive?
No, he made them.
He made them.
Like,
Where did he make
made
them?
Humans.
Yeah. Where did he make them?
He made us
Where did he make them?
in the earth, on the earth.
On inside the
In the earth.
terrarium. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that means that we have to draw a parallel, and so show me an instance where somebody on Earth created a life inside of the terrarium. They created the terrarium, and then they created the life inside the terrarium.
I didn't claim that they make life inside of the terrarium.
Okay, so then it's not the
That's
same.
property of God.
So it's not the same.
Hang on.
It's a false
wait.
equivocation.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's a false equivocation. So
no,
you
I
have to
never
demonstrate. Yeah. Demonstrate to me
I have to
that.
demonstrate someone creating life.
Yes. Demonstrate somebody creating life. If you're going to compare, if you're going to say we've already created terrariums, yeah, you have to demonstrate. Okay, listen to me.
I have to demonstrate someone creating life
Inside
to
of a
make God real.
terrarium, yeah, inside of a terrarium, yeah, because
You understand?
sir, this is your comparison. You said we have instances
what
of
I mean?
people creating terrariums, and there's no instance where they just appeared out of
agree to that.
nowhere. So what I'm asking you, okay, let's not pivot. We're going to the life inside the terrarium. That's the specific thing.
Yeah.
We're testing to see if this is equivalent. So far, it's not, because you just failed the second one. That's the second attribute you gave, and it's already failed.
I don't need to prove where the life came
Then
from.
it's not then it's a false equivocation. Then the Earth is not a terrarium, because it's not the
Wait,
same.
Can life come from nowhere? Wait, are you breathing air right now?
Okay, I'm not going to let you pivot. It's not. It's a
I'm not
false.
pivoting.
It's a false
You
equivocation. It is a false equivocation. All right. So,
According
do you
to the
have?
gas laws-
All right. I've already blown that up. Do you have any other evidence? What's next?
No, you haven't blown anything up.
Okay.
So
We're moving
you
on.
deny
Do
the
you
gas
have
laws.
what else? What else do you have? Or we're moving
You
on.
deny the gas laws.
Okay, we're moving on. What
Deny
else?
science.
What other evidence that you have?
No, we are not moving on.
Yeah, we are moving on. This is my fucking live. If I say we move on, we're moving on. So, do you have anything else, or do you want to go?
Yeah. So gas pressure, according to all the gas laws,
Okay.
requires a container, and we're breathing air.
Okay. And then what is your evidence that God caused that?
So
Take
that's an
again,
agnostic- so
take me
could have
through
God
your
made that?
again, take me through your steps
Could have God made
to
that?
verify that God caused that.
See, what I want to ask you, right? Could
Okay.
have God made the earth?
Okay.
We're inside of it.
This is my
It has to
question.
be that.
Take me through your steps that verify that God made that.
So you're agnostic now. You're agnostic.
All right. Do you have
agree
any
with science or not?
Do you have anything
Do you
else,
agree
Angels
with
of Light?
science or not?
Okay, you don't want to have a conversation, do you? Do you want to have a
No,
conversation?
I actually do.
You do? Okay, then answer my question. Take me through your steps where you verified that God is
no
the
worries,
cause
sir.
of the gas laws.
So every terrarium needs a creator. If we're inside of it, then something.
Okay,
had
you,
to
you got to get
create
off the
the earth.
terrarium thing because it's
No,
I reject your
What do you
terrarium
mean get off
equivalency. I reject
Well,
that.
hang on.
We're past
What-
that.
you
You
can't
have to.
reject- we can't
We're talking
reject
about
that.
gas laws, sir. So
Yes.
I need
Are you
your
breathing air?
verification. I need your steps that you verified that God created.
According
gas.
to all the gas laws, gas pressure needs containment. The definition of gas pressure is the amount of force exerted by the molecules on the walls of a container.
Perfect. Then
it
then
can't-
take
can I
me
finish?
through your steps that God did this. Just
Literally doing that.
well, no,
So-
you're explaining what gas laws are. I'm asking you to take me through the steps in which you verified that God did this.
So I have to verify that a deity did it for you.
Well, that's how you believe it's true, right?
Well, I have to verify that a deity did it for
Angels of Light, did a deity do it? Yes or no?
you. Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
How confident are you that this deity did it?
I'm very confident. Every terrarium needs a creator.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 100, how confident are you? 100%. Okay. So you're 100% confident. And how confident, just as a parallel, just a confidence level comparison.
How confident are you
Hold
that
on.
it didn't happen by
Hold on.
creator?
Hold on.
How
As a-
confident are you that it didn't?
As a parallel on a confidence level scale, how confident are you that you have a mother?
Bro, I'm very confident.
1 to 100 on scale 1 to 100.
Yes, I have a mother.
100%, right? 100% confident that you have a mother. So you're just as confident that God created the gas laws as you are that you have a mother, right? So
Yeah, so yes, God.
fantastic.
Yes,
Okay, so
time, space, and matter on the
okay.
outside of that
Okay.
created everything.
to be fair, I'll answer your question. I'm about 2% confident that a God exists at all. That
Okay,
a God
so then-
exists.
so
So
then
now
let's
we have to
start-
get to,
let's
but see, the thing is it doesn't explain your God. It just
Let's
says
unpack that.
a God.
Let's unpack what you just said.
Okay.
You said 2% chance that God or a deity.
I said 2%
made-
confident, not 2%
Right, yeah,
chance.
Right. 2% confident. Okay, so do terrariums show up in nature on their own?
Okay, no. But see, the thing
Okay.
is that
Let's
also
follow the
failed.
logic.
Okay, so
Earth
yeah,
is
but
a
the other
giant
side of
terrarium.
it though, I know you're trying to go through this talking point again, and we're not going to talk about this
Because
again because
why-
you have to demonstrate to
haven't
me.
addressed it.
You
haven't
have.
addressed it.
I did address it. I asked you to demonstrate for me an instance in which a person has created life inside of a terrarium, just like God
No,
did.
that's not what we're talking about. So you agreed.
It
with
is.
me
That's
that
what it is
terrarium-
about because it's not an equivalent. It's not an equivalent. It's not equivalent comparison.
You know what? I think you don't want God to be real, is what I think.
Okay, so now you're a mind reader. So
Yeah,
okay,
because,
all right. What number am I thinking of right now? What number am I thinking of right now? Let's
Let me ask you a
We
very
can.
basic question.
Okay, no. My question is to you: is if you're a mind reader, verify to me what number
said
I'm
I was a
thinking
mind
of.
reader.
Okay, so then you don't know what's in my fucking head. You can't say that about me.
So do
You can't say that I don't want to know that God is real. You can't say that. That is a shutdown technique,
But then let me
and
ask
that
you
is
then.
you
want God
not
to be
wanting
real
to
or not?
engage into the conversation. So this is about having a conversation, sir, right? So if we're going to have a conversation, I have the right. You came up into my live. I have questions, and I expect that my questions
so
be
do I.
answered. All right?
So do I. We
Fantastic.
both agree. Can I finish now? We both agree that giant terrariums or terrariums in nature don't show up on their own. They need a creator.
Correct.
If-
And we also
if-
agree that
One second.
terrariums
If-
in nature. No, I got to make a clarification. This is a conversation. So we also agree, Angels of Light, that terrariums, there are no terrariums that you know of in which a person has created life inside of the terrarium. You agree with that, right? Agree or
They're not God.
agree or
They're not
disagree.
God.
Okay,
They're
so
not
then that's
God.
not an equivalent comparison. So if you demonstrate to
talking about
me,
the creation
if you
of the earth.
if you demonstrate to me that a person has created life inside of a terrarium,
No, that's an insane claim, right?
it's
You
not
know that-
insane.
I'm
It's
not gonna
totally
say
not
that.
insane. It's totally not
Wait,
insane.
wait, do you think that life has been created from non-life?
Yes, we have evidence of that. Abiogenesis.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No.
I didn't say it was done before. What is abiogenesis? What is the last experiment they've done with abiogenesis?
What was independent
You got 56 seconds left. So what's the last experiment they've done in
You
abiogenesis?
just said abiogenesis proved it. What
You
was
got
independent variable for the experiment?
48 seconds left. What is the last experiment? I'm not dodging anything.
This is your claim, not mine.
Yeah.
You tell me. What was independent variable?
You tell me. What is okay? What is the last because no what I'm trying to demonstrate is you don't know shit about abiogenesis because you just totally dismissed it. No, you answer my question. What is the last experiment that was conducted on abiogenesis? What is the last experiment conducted?
Not my claim.
So you're saying there's no experiments conducted on abiogenesis? Is that what you're saying?
I'm asking you. That's what I'm asking you. What was the independent variable for that experiment?
Okay. What I'm asking you
I know you don't know the answer. I know you don't know what an independent variable is.
I can find out the fucking answer. That's not a big deal. Okay. It's not that deep.
Let me ask you
a
basic question.
All right. We're stopping for the kick poll. You just wasted all of that time. You could have just answered the questions and I could have answered with you, but you're just wasting time. So, all right, everybody, we are at, I'm not running away. Nobody's running away.
Please don't run. I want to talk to you.
Yeah, nobody's running away. I'm sitting right here, but you got to understand. Right. Okay, do you see the rules above my head? What do the rules say above my head? What does it say?
I've been pretty respectful.
Okay, what does it say? You have been fairly respectful, but so there is an early kick poll. You understand that, right? You get that there's an early kick poll.
That's awesome.
Yes, that's awesome. There's an early kick poll, which they hit. They hit the early kick poll goal, which means that there is a kick poll vote. So, all right. What, you don't believe? You don't believe me?
Can we talk about but like you said that
as soon as I do the kick poll, I will go up and look up the answer for you if it's done within a minute. Okay?
Wait,
I will go look up the answer.
You made the
so I'm supposed to know exactly what it's supposed to be. I know in general. I don't know exactly the answer off the top of my head. No, I don't do that.
Made the claim. You said it happened.
Okay,
why'd you make a positive claim if you didn't know?
I don't know the exact details of it, sir. I don't know the dates. I don't know the exact variables. I just know that it happened. I don't need to know the exact details. I don't need to know any of that shit.
Are you saying that an experiment was done to create life from nothing?
Nope.
Are you saying that was what happened?
Nope. Did I say that?
So then was life ever created from non-life?
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said life was created from non-life.
I didn't say that. I did not say that. Oh, you want to go back and we're going to go back and listen to the tape. I never said that. All right. Kick poll is active, everybody. Let's go. Oh, we might break the record. This might hit this may hit the okay. Bro, if everybody's running away from you, that might be a sign. Okay. That might be a sign that if does everybody run away from you?
Actually, they do. All atheists.
They do, exactly. They all run away from you because no atheists run away from you. Do okay.
Hey, do you agree with science, bro?
Do you guys have okay? So we are going with oh god, this motherfucker is so insufferable. Are you married?
The fuck's it to you?
Oh, you're not married. Shocker. Shocker, you're not married.
Of course I'm not married.
Of course you're not married. Yes, of course you're not married. Shocker.
What about you? Of course you don't want God to be real. Of course not.
Of course he's not married. Yes.
Do you agree with science or not?
Yes.
You agree with science or not?
Oh my God. Okay. 40-4. Not shocked. All right.
Do you agree
with science? Buddy. Okay. Yeah. I ain't running. We're kicking. All right. 40-4. And what was the final on? Boy, YouTube, you are so generous. It was 40 out of 44 on the TikTok side, and it was 72% on YouTube. out of 32 votes. So 72 votes, 72%. What is that? So now I'm curious. 0.72 times 28. So 20 of you, it should have been closer to like 25 or something like that. 25, 26, but 20 out of 28. Wow. That's wild. That is wild. Okay. It looks like we have somebody on the YouTube side. Oh yeah. We got a couple people waiting. All right. So hang in there, folks. We'll get you in here. Looks like I have, all right. Very good. We have somebody with their camera on, so this will be nice. Of course, you're not required to keep your camera on, but that's okay. All right, let's bring somebody in from the YouTube side, and we'll get the conversation going. All right. Give me a second while I get you in, and then we'll unmute you and all that good stuff. So, not a shocker that everybody runs from that guy. Okay. Guest with the glasses and the hat. Can you hear me? Guest with the glasses and the hat. Can you hear me? Sounds like they can't hear me yet. So let's see what's going on. Their photo is, oh, there you are. There you are. Okay. How's it going?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm making your photo a little bit more visible.
Wait a second. Let me try to do this. Is this better?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Is this better?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're fine. I can hear you just fine. Okay. So we can kind of see it. We're gonna like.
Let's see what's going on.
Oh, now you're echoing.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Okay.
Hold on a second. You're kind of echoing there. So let's try this again. Maybe change out your.
I seem to have a lot of lag.
Kind of see it. We're gonna.
Okay, you got some lag. All right, I had to mute you for a second because it's like really backed up. Well, hey, how about this? Let me go ahead and hang tight. Maybe oh yeah, looks like your network connection is a little laggy. That's what I'm seeing on my end. So yeah, maybe try to try to fix your Wi-Fi or do something a little to improve that. But I'll keep you in the queue. I can't hear you right now because I don't want to hear the feedback, the echo, but I'll keep you in the queue and I'll watch it and I'll go to the next guest and I'll come back to you. How about that? We'll give it 20, 30 minutes. Can you do that? Because it was working okay. Well, let's try one more time. How are we doing? All right. They're gonna. Okay.
I took the feedback away.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Thank you for doing that. All right. Well, thanks for doing that. Appreciate you. All right. How old are you?
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Oh, the feedback is there. So.
Oh.
Let's see if there's something I can do to fix that. It's just yours, so that's weird.
I am 35.
You're 35? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's not working quite right. So let's try. Can you try switching to like a different audio device?
So right now I'm watching you through the computer.
It's working. Whatever you're doing is working.
I'm hearing you through my phone.
Oh, that's probably why there's double. That's why I can hear myself twice. That may be why.
I already did try to switch from a different audio.
Okay, I think
I have you the.
I think it's working okay now. Okay, well, let's give it a shot. All right. Well, hey, thanks for being patient. I appreciate that. Okay,
But I don't have the audio of my laptop on.
Okay, well, let's give it a shot here. All right. Thanks for being patient with me. Okay, let's just give it a shot. Okay, so you said you're 35, and which God do you believe in? I want to talk to people who believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. Oh, this delay. Can you hear me? Can?
Okay, so I used to be like a Christian. These days, I do not really like believe in the Bible, God.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of delay. Maybe I should just try and fix it through the computer.
Okay. Yeah, let's just try and fix it. Why don't you hang into the just hang out for a bit? I'll go to the next guest.
I can hear you, but
yeah,
it seems like there is a lot of
delay. Yeah. So let me go to the next guest, give you an opportunity to fix that. And also I want to talk to believers, but I'll take a question from you if that's all right. Otherwise, if you want a long discussion, my suggestion would be to go into my Discord. The link is in my profile. Either way, but I'll take a question from you, but I'll move on to another guest and I'll give you an opportunity to work things out. Okay. I'll be back. So hang tight.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we'll move on to the next guest, and it is the next guest that's in the TikTok queue. So let's move on to them. Okay. All right. Next guest in the TikTok queue. Can you hear me? Looks like you're muted. Now you're unmuted. Next guest. Can you hear me? Let's see. Maybe I can.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, there you are. CSG 57P7. Yeah, there you are.
Oh,
yeah. You don't have a screen name. Would you like one?
No, that's fine.
Oh, okay, very good. Okay. All right, thanks. Thanks for waiting. How old are you?
I am 36.
36. Fantastic. Okay, and which God do you believe in? The God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran?
Say the Bible.
Okay. All right, and what's your best evidence that this God exists?
Well, if we see in mathematics, everything has a limit.
Everything? Even infinity?
That's it, right? So in order for infinity, in a world with infinite chaos and infinite order, you would have to have an infinite energy.
Okay, right? An infinite energy?
So within infinite energy is the source in which matter arose.
Okay, now
it's not that God created the universe, is that God emerged from within God emerged the universe, or the universe emerged Earth.
Okay. So I guess the first question I have is, so if I hear what you're saying, I guess let me try and understand your argument and maybe steelman it a little bit. You're saying that in a world with infinite order and infinite chaos, there has to be infinite energy?
Yeah.
Did I hear that right? Okay. And all right, so then I think the first thing we're going to have to understand is how did you determine that there's infinite order, infinite chaos?
Because the cycles in which stars and planets form, evolve, and because not every planet has life.
Okay.
Is there life?
Not on every planet. Not on every planet. Yeah, like probably well more than 99% of planets. There's no life. Yeah.
Exactly. So not every planet has life.
Okay.
Right. And life only forms within the right pattern, and it starts evolving.
Okay.
So evolution is the complex life coming from simple life evolving into complex life. Which and that's exactly what the creation, the story of creation tells. If God created everything, he would create it all at once. But no, God creates God goes through the creation in phases. So it goes evolving. It's not 7 days because God isn't affected by time.
All right.
God
Hold on, we're kind of jumping anywhere. Can we let's kind of dial it back a little bit. Let's understand what you mean by order and chaos. So
okay.
What do you mean by order, and then what do you mean by chaos?
An order is the patterns in which things evolve.
The patterns in which things evolve?
So in fusion, fusion goes from hydrogen to helium and through all the elements.
Okay.
It doesn't jump around. It has an order in which they form and they start evolving.
Okay, so we're talking about real physical things, not like math order, because math order is different than what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Let's.
So like measurable things?
Yeah.
Okay. And so and then what is chaos?
Chaos is the way in which the amount of energy it needs and the process in which things evolve.
Okay, amount of energy what needs?
The amount of energy matter needs to evolve.
Okay.
So in fusion, you have two hydrogen, you fuse together. That energy in which when it fuses in fusion, that's the chaos in which everything in which reality forms.
Okay.
From stars to planets.
And so therefore from things to go from chaos to order, you need an infinite amount of energy. And how did you determine that to be true?
You need an infinite amount of energy, and you need an infinite amount of permutations.
Oh wait, we're sliding another thing in. So an infinite amount of energy and an infinite amount of permutations. So for things to go from chaos to order, you need infinite energy and then infinite permutations. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. All right. And so for the infinite energy and permutations part, why is that so?
Well, for infinite energy, it had to come from somewhere, right? It had to come from a point in which the point emerged, and that infinite energy that emerged was matter.
Okay. Well, okay, so let's kind of look up the definition of chaos, the science definition of chaos, because I think that's where I'm kind of having a struggle with, because that's not what I remember the definition of chaos to be. So the science definition of chaos, it means just a state of disorder, unpredictable behavior of systems. So that's what chaos is. It's just unpredictable behavior.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's not what you said. That's not the same as what you said. You said, let me go back to my notes. You said how much energy and matter things need in order to change. Chaos is the amount of energy matter needs to evolve. That's not the same as unpredictable behavior of systems. You see what I mean? So that's like a whole different definition. So I mean, if we're like redefining things, then I don't know how. So how did you get to what you defined it as?
Because not all matter has life. Well, I can't say that. No. Not all matter would form life.
Okay. Not all matter would form life. Okay. Well, that's true. But
then, and all matter, well, chaos goes through all matter, or all matter goes through chaos, in which life would emerge.
Okay. I'm still not clear because science doesn't define chaos the way you define it. It has a whole different definition. It's not the same. So this kind of like falls apart right at the start. Because I mean, yeah, if you're redefining chaos, well, yeah, maybe what you're saying is true, but then you have to demonstrate that chaos is what you say it is and not what scientists say it is. How do you demonstrate that?
Okay. So what's the definition again?
The science definition of chaos is the unpredictable behavior. So like, for example, the butterfly effect. Mm-hmm. That's what chaos is. So state of disorder, unpredictable behavior, something like that.
Yeah. So unpredictable behavior is all planets are planets, but not all planets are the same.
Okay.
Correct?
That's not behavior. That's like
behavior.
No, that's not behavior, that they're not all the same. I mean, I guess it just depends what you mean by the same, like the same shape, the same size. Well, yeah, that part's true, but that's not behavior. So, I mean, yeah, you could say all planets are shaped differently or different sizes, and that's, or I'm sorry, sized differently. They have different, like, let's just say they have different mass. Like all planets have different mass, right? That would be true, but that doesn't mean that's not behavior. That's just a property. Like their weight is a property, right?
It's a behavior in which it forms.
No, that's a property. That's like an outcome. So like the way it forms is like, gravitational pull, for example.
Okay. So what's gravitational pull?
What's gravitational pull? All right. So we have to do that.
It's the effect of mass.
It is an attractive force between any two objects that have mass. Yeah. Yeah. So if that's the case, all right.
So it's a behavior.
Well, yeah, gravitational pull is behavior, but a planet's mass is not behavior. That's its property.
Okay.
So yeah.
It has the key concept is there is a behavior in which things form and what they do.
Yeah, that's true. What I'm saying though is
it comes from the randomness, the unpredictableness of how of their properties.
That would be chaos, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're changing your definition of chaos then? Is it still
it's the same thing.
Amount of energy needs to that's not the same.
No. Chaos, it's the same thing. Chaos it's the key idea in chaos, both definitions and in the common language would be the randomness and unpredictableness.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with the amount of energy that it needs to evolve. It's all it is. That may be like things needing different amounts of energy to change. Mm-hmm. That could be a property of unpredictable behavior, but that's not unpredictable behavior by itself, because things can change, based on a lot of reasons, not just energy.
Everything.
Right?
Yeah, but
so I reject your definition of chaos. I reject that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I mean, if that's the case, then we're kind of at a standstill here. That kind of blows up. So do you have anything else? Any other evidence?
And it's just the key concept in which an infinite to have life and matter, and for matter to evolve, it doesn't mean necessarily that something or someone created it, but it does define that from that one it was created. Okay.
Would you say that ice melting is a change? Because that's what you're talking about, is things change. You need infinite energy for something to change. Isn't that what you're basically saying?
Ice melting? Well, yeah, it's the energy that from atoms. It's kinetic energy.
Yeah, but that doesn't require infinite energy, right? You only need like a little bit of energy You just need like a small change to force ice to melt.
But you're talking about atoms as in a whole.
Yeah, but you said
no, but the reality itself. From when reality itself, it's like life, you know.
Okay, well now we're trying to changing things now. So now this is a whole different thing. So now you're talking about, because you just said for things to go from chaos to order, you need infinite energy and infinite permutations. That's what you said.
From things to go, you need infinite energy and infinite permutations, and an infinite from infinite order and infinite chaos.
Oh, wish Dr. Blitz were here.
You need an infinite permutations for matter to emerge.
You need infinite permutations for matter to emerge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And life.
Okay. And how do you know that?
Because matter gathers together and evolves, but not all evolution is the same.
Okay, matter.
And not all planets have life.
How do you get from that to that? So I know that not all planets have life. We know at least one planet that has life. And what I'm trying to understand is, how do you know that you need infinite energy and infinite because that doesn't follow. That seems to be an assumption. Because you should be able to have some type of calculation that says, yeah, you need infinite energy. You got to put the infinity sign there in this calculation to create life. And how do you know that? That doesn't seem to follow.
Hello, my next.
It's mathematics.
Yeah. So take me through the math. Like what equation did you use, or something like that?
Well, if the simplest form would be, if for the emergence of mass, you need an infinite
It's not true.
amount. Why?
Well, stars, you'd say stars have mass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so before stars form, they don't have mass, right?
Before the stars form?
Yeah.
Hydrogen.
Right. But it's clear it doesn't have mass because it's not a star, right? So star doesn't exist, doesn't have mass. Star exists, it forms, it has mass, right?
Mass is just a gathering of matter.
Of course. But what I'm saying is, but you'd also agree that a star becomes a star when certain types of matter form together, right? That's what makes it a star. What?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
No, a star becomes a star when the amount of matter gathers up and the ignition of fusion.
That's just what
the core.
Right. So, but you need to have the pieces of matter in order for that fusion to occur, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. So, are you telling me that you need an infinite amount of energy for that fusion to occur?
No, for the fusion to occur.
Yeah.
It needs it goes up to a certain amount of energy.
It goes up to a certain amount of energy. It doesn't need infinite energy. That was my point. You don't need infinite.
It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that it stops.
Okay. So what if there was just enough energy to power the universe? So that's what I'm asking you. How do you know that there's infinite energy? You're just saying, well, it's a math problem. But how did you figure that out? Because even physicists haven't figured that out. I was listening to a astrophysicist yesterday, and he was saying you can't say that there's infinite energy. There's just no way to know that. He said there could be enough energy for the universe, but there could be a finite amount. It's just far beyond what we think it is. But there's no way to determine if there's infinite or not. So that's why I'm trying to figure out from you, how did you determine that? And why don't physicists don't know this, and how do you know this? And they don't.
Again, to say for certain, nobody could say something for certain, something is something for certain.
Okay. How confident
Life,
are you
life,
how confident are you then
no,
that there's infinite energy? Like scale is 1 to 100.
okay, okay. Not that there's infinite, but it needed infinite.
It needs infinite energy. Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying is that if you don't know that there's infinite energy, how can you say that things need infinite energy? Because going by what you said, if there's you're saying for things to go from chaos to order, you need infinite energy and infinite permutations. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
We can play it back. But see, but the problem is you can't determine whether or not there's infinite energy. Like I said, I listened to a astrophysicist, Dr. Blitz. You should go listen to him. Actually, you can go listen to it. He said it yesterday. He said there is no we don't know that there's infinite energy. You can't prove that. So so I'm asking you. So if you can't prove that there's infinite energy, so then that would mean that for things to go from chaos to order, and you're saying it needs infinite energy, but he's saying you can't know that, then that would mean that nothing would go from chaos to order, according to what you're saying.
Okay. So
you see what I mean?
Again, the emergence from which the universe and matter emerged from, would need infinite energy and infinite chaos, infinite order.
Okay, well, again, you don't have any mechanism to demonstrate that. Because again, I just told you, an astrophysicist said there's no way you can determine that the universe has infinite energy. There's no way to know that.
But you know why we can't? You know why we can't know that? Because reality it's always going to be a theory.
Reality is always going to be a theory?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's going to be a theory.
Wait, what does that mean?
Because things evolve.
Okay, things evolve. All right.
So we can't say for certain. Well, we can't say anything's for certain. In science. That's what science is.
Yeah. In many ways, I agree with that, but we do have degrees of certainty, right? Like we're pretty sure that gravity exists, right? We're like extremely confident. Physicists are you would agree with that, right? Physicists are extremely confident that gravity exists.
Yes.
Okay. So they're extremely confident that exists. They're extremely confident, like there's the laws of physics, right?
There's the laws of physics,
right,
which govern everything.
Mm-hmm. Which govern everything, we've yet to
the general
and
laws.
And we have yet to run into things that defy the laws of physics, right?
Yeah.
To verify that they have. We have claims of things that have defied the laws of physics, but we haven't run into anything that we have verified to be true that definitely defy the laws of physics. Like, for example, me levitating, right? That would defy the laws of physics. We have yet to find a person who can levitate, right? Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So in that sense, I do agree with you because I am a fallibilist. And so, we go by the truth is what we know to be true, right? But that could change at any moment. Like if we found things that defy the law, that part I agree with you. However, we don't then say, well, we don't know everything for sure because, if it's 99.99999999999 like all the way down, that's veritably 100%, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we see it that way, then at one point, everybody was 99.99999% that we were at the center of the universe.
Yeah,
but it was proven wrong.
Not everybody. There were the Greeks actually didn't believe that.
Okay, but there's been times where the idea,
I think the
scientific idea that somebody supposedly proved was the core idea.
Well, yeah, sure. I agree with you on that part. There are people who do believe in things that are certain, but certainty doesn't equate to truth. And that part I agree with you on. What I'm saying though is that I think that's the part behind science is that, we go by with what we have discovered, right? We go by all the evidence, we look at the data, we look at the testing and all that stuff, and then we come to a conclusion based on that, right? Uh-huh. See, the problem is that what I don't have from you is the this demonstration that we need, that there is infinite energy? Because you would agree that infinite energy would have to exist for what you're saying to be true, right?
Correct.
Okay, but the problem is that physicists don't agree with you on that. So if they don't agree with you, that's why I'm asking you. If they don't agree with you that infinite energy exists, how did you figure out that infinite energy exists? And I get what you're saying also. You did also say, I'm just acknowledging this part that I was listening, that you said, well, not everything's a guarantee. Like, it's not 100%. So that's why I asked you, well, how confident are you that there is infinite energy on a scale of 1 to 100?
On a 1 to 100, I would say a solid 95.
95. See, that's very, very strong confidence. And so what is driving that confidence? How, like, what did you do to verify that 95% confidence level?
Because there is no matter that won't have energy or contain energy or would need energy.
Okay. Well, supposing that, because I'm not a physicist, but let's just suppose that physicists agree with you on that, yet they don't conclude like you do, that with 95% certainty that infinite energy is infinite. So why did they come to a different conclusion than you?
It's
like, what do you know that they don't?
It's not knowing anything that I know.
Okay.
We don't know different things, or it's just, it would go back into seeing what's been learned.
Okay.
Seeing, the universe as reality, and seeing and trying to see humanity as the only life. Not so much, taking removing the ego, right? So
they're egotistical?
Not egotistical. It's just, like all of science. It needs to be, it doesn't need to be, but it's based off, life on Earth. Right? Why? Because
not entirely. No, not all of it.
Not all of it. The majority.
I mean, it's based on what we can observe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not just life on Earth. I mean, they observe things, in outer space too. It's not just life on Earth.
We observe outer space to study space and the search for life in space.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Right.
I'll go so far as to say it is from our perspective on Earth.
Exactly.
Right.
And,
well,
okay, there you go.
Sorta. Yeah. I mean, there is a space station, and they're doing it from that perspective, but that's kind of from Earth. I mean, that's that's like what 50,000, 100,000 miles up or whatever. Yeah. So okay, I'll just go with you on that. So because like for example, we're not observing things from say Jupiter, right? We're not on Jupiter. We're not elsewhere. We're very, very close to Earth at the very least. Okay, I'll give it to you from that perspective. All right.
So. And it's natural, right? So our perspective, it's always going to be from us.
Okay. So, I guess what I'm trying to understand though is just even given all that you said, because I think wouldn't you say that's not a unique position you hold? Wouldn't you say scientists have that same perspective that you do?
I can't say that they don't or they do, because
well, they would agree that we're seeing things from like an Earth-centric perspective. Like that's what our observation is.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. They have that same perspective, but what I'm failing to understand from your point of view is why hasn't anyone come to the same conclusion as you?
I can't say that they haven't. I can't say that nobody hasn't. People might have.
Not everybody on Earth. I'm talking about astrophysicists.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I can't say they haven't. I think it's a natural idea that would go past their minds. And
why?
We have,
why is that beyond them?
Huh?
Why is that beyond them? Why is
not beyond them? But it just.
Well, you said it goes past their minds. Why would it go past their minds?
No, not past them. Just like it go through their minds. Then
Okay, because I'm trying. Well, I think what I'm really trying to understand, and not clear on is, what are they missing that you're not?
They're not missing anything. It's just seeing it, in also not just as a, having also, a belief in.
A belief in what?
In God.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like then you're saying it has to be this way because God exists.
No. I'm saying that I believe that it's not God that made, or it's not God that created, but the created was from within God.
It was
from God.
It was from God.
It emerged from God.
How did it do that?
Again, we go back, right? We go back to the beginning. It's just for matter to emerge and all matter to have energy, through forces or quarks, anything in the most fundamental parts. Even let's say.
Well, I don't want you to re-explain what you just said. What I'm asking is, then how did you realize that all this came from God? Like, what's the evidence that it came from God and not someplace else?
Okay, the best I could explain, it's just labeling a quark, the properties of quarks.
I don't understand what that means.
So quarks, they're fundamental particles that have a certain amount of
energy. That I understand. What I'm trying to understand is, how does relabeling quarks demonstrate that God that this all came from within God?
Not relabeling quarks. In the most fundamental part, if there's something beside, within quarks, or the most fundamental properties of matter, and it emerged from the infinite energy of God, or it emerged from the infinite energy.
Well, again, we don't have evidence that God. Infinite energy is infinite. We don't have evidence of that. So that just seems to be an assumption on your part. Hold that thought. We got to do a kick poll. Actually, let me start it and you can keep talking. So just give me just a second here. All right, everybody, we're at the kick poll time. And let me start with the guest here. So starting on the YouTube side and heading over to the TikTok side to start the poll. So everybody please vote so we can get the fair number of votes in. All right, and you guys know what to do on TikTok. Happy face to keep the guest, or crying face to move on to the next one. We do have 2 waiting in the queue. So, all right, go ahead and continue on. So, I guess, yeah, because again, we haven't established that energy is infinite. So if God an infinite source of energy?
God isn't infinite. Infinite energy was within God.
It's within God. Okay. But you have no evidence to demonstrate that. Because like I said, we don't know if energy is infinite. So it's just kind of it's a presupposition.
Okay. So, let's say it would be a theory of the most fundamental particles within that would emerge from all matter.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Hey, listen, they did vote to move on to the next guest, so I do appreciate you coming up. So right. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Take care. Right. Okay. All right. And we're back to the guest who had some connection issues, and the one who keeps saying hello, you're next. So just give me. Okay. Yeah, you got one other guest. Yeah, nobody can hear you yet, but we got one other guest ahead of you. So just hang tight. Okay. All right. So we're back to the kind lady with glasses. All right. So let's give it another try. And okay. All right. You are back in? Yeah, there you are. All right. We see part of you. So there we go. Hi, how you doing? Oh goodness, we cannot hear you. We're still having some audio difficulties. Oh goodness. Okay, now try again. One more time.
Yes. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yay. Okay.
Yes, because my mic is like here it says that you should be able to hear me.
Okay, very good.
Right. Let me just get to my living room so
Okay.
I will be closer to my modem.
Okay. I'm going to turn you up
Because
just a little bit. All right.
I am calling from overseas.
Oh, okay.
So that might be why.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm 35. You can call me Meda if you want.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
I am not like a Bible believer,
Okay.
but I do believe that there could be a God.
Could be. Okay.
Because we haven't. Okay. So can I tell you why I believe what I believe?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'd like to know. So, yeah, like what's the best piece of evidence that you have that that a God is real?
All right. It might not be like a piece of evidence that other people accept, but what happened to me is I was like a hardcore atheist. I was like a very edgy, kind of annoying hardcore atheist as a kid.
Okay.
Right? Like we all had that phase, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe that's my phase now.
I was, not the annoying part, but edgy.
Oh, yeah. You
Edgy
should talk to
teenager.
my wife sometime. She might disagree with you, but all right. I got you.
I was, I thought, everything that has to be a logical explanation for everything.
Mhm.
I don't believe, there's a God, there's no evidence. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
But I ended up living in a haunted home.
Oh, a haunted house. Okay.
Yes, it was the most haunted home in my city, and we didn't know because it was like in the far edge of the city. So
Okay.
I'll just like try to make like give you a quick example. There was lots because we were there for 9 months.
Okay.
But once me and my mom were cleaning, there was this heavy ceramic plate, about this size, like heavy ceramic plate.
Okay.
And that was on a wooden table.
Okay.
And we had left that thing there hours before, and we were I was doing the dishes on the other side, and then I start going towards my mom because I was like, oh my God, I finally get to rest from this heavy cleaning stuff. This plate fucking flies and lands on the wall.
Oh,
right
goodness.
behind my back.
Okay. So it
And my
flies
mom
across
was
the
like,
room, right?
full view in front of me.
Mhm.
So we had 2 angles, and there was nobody in this house.
Okay.
Nobody else.
Okay.
So that kind of messed with my mind forever,
Mhm.
because I'm like, there could be some kind of force that we don't see, that we don't have evidence for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not so long ago when they wondered if there are black holes, and it's not so long ago when people thought that beating their kids up was like a good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
60s,
Yeah, I agree with that. So I guess my question to you is that with stuff like that, if we take personal experience, right? The problem is that if we just take things on personal experience alone, it then makes everything true. Like, for example, I don't know if, I know you're not from the United States, but we have a thing here, Bigfoot, right? Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So there's people who report seeing Bigfoot. Now, that doesn't necessarily make it true, right? It does, just because people see Bigfoot, that doesn't mean that there is a Bigfoot. And then there's hundreds and thousands of sightings of Bigfoot. But the problem is that people put out trail cameras and they stay in the forest and of where Bigfoot reportedly was, and we cannot get a picture of this Bigfoot. Can't get a picture of it.
They keep saying that the thing has this special fur, and that's how
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
see it.
Yeah.
It's a little, yeah.
Yeah, and
But
they'll say all kinds of
here's the thing,
funny
right?
things. Yeah.
If it didn't happen to me, I'd still be on the hardcore skeptic boat.
Mm.
But all these things happen to me, and I feel like, okay, that would be radical of me that things are happening, like disembodied fucking voices, plates flying.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening in my house, and I don't believe it. But I don't expect others to believe it.
Okay.
I'm just saying
I feel
there
you.
might be something.
Might
that we
be.
haven't researched.
Well, I'm on a might be with you in terms of like, but I'm maybe like 2% confident that any God exists, right? Because there's just not everything can be explained, and it's not completely impossible. Like if we take the logic of impossibility and things of that sort. So if we approach it from that perspective, it's not, you can't like 100% rule it out. So I'm with you on that. Like, yes, it could have been a spirit, but then you got to start thinking, well, what is a spirit? Number one, like what's a spirit? Like, you know, how does it move things? Can it move things? Like, you know, because all we know, like for example, all we know is that things that are physical can move physical things, right? Like if you're just like if you're like a spirit, like what is that even made of? And then how would it be able to move this thing and then not other things? Like why didn't it knock other things over? You know what I mean? And maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but how do we verify it? Yeah.
Right. So I think, say that we take the premise of we don't think everybody's hallucinating. There might be a reason why paranormal investigations happen.
Yeah.
Maybe we should like bring good equipment, not make it for YouTube, but make it for research.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure none of us like hallucinated that. But I grant you that could just be like, I don't know, plate versus table versus with some kind of vibration from the road.
Yeah, it could be.
That thing was somehow launched, but I don't know a mechanism. And I have friends who are physicists, and they told me there's no plausible mechanism for that to move based in physics.
Yeah. That's what makes it supernatural, right? Like supernatural is that something that can't be explained by science. So they have no way to explain that to you, right? And I'm not, but the other thing is I'm not saying that what you're saying didn't happen. I believe you because actually I can see your face. You look pretty sincere. You sound sincere, and your mom was there too, right? Now you could be totally pulling my leg. It could be, but I got no reason to think that, right? I have no reason to think either way. So I'm just going to believe you. I'll just say, yes, it happened. But yeah, I agree with you. There's really no way to know if it happened. And I wouldn't automatically rule out a God. I'm not completely like 100% convinced there are no gods. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
I also cannot say like, hey, that was for sure a ghost.
Yeah.
But based on like context that this house was haunted, we didn't know. We go there without even knowing that. The neighbor only told us after we, like the day of the moving, that we were out there. She said, it's good for you to move out. And I was like, what?
And why?
Like, yeah,
I said, oh, it's haunted.
Bad vibes in this house. It's haunted.
That's funny.
Know.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, holy shit. Why didn't you tell us? And she's like, well, it wouldn't help you. We wouldn't have helped you.
Yeah.
And we were there because it was cheap. So this woman knew also that they rented this house for cheap because nobody stays.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting because I remember I was a little kid, and I remember that when we first moved to where we first moved to when I was a kid, I was like 8, 9 years old. I remember seeing a figure in the window of my bedroom, and it looked like a woman, like in a white dress, and she had a veil over her face. Completely freaked me out. You know, and I couldn't sleep in my room for months.
That's freaky.
I was like 8 or 9 years old. And then when I told my parents, my dad said, oh, you know, that sounds like a lot like the woman I used to see that used to just appear in my windows in my front door when I was younger. And so for the longest time, I thought that ghosts were real. And then it kind of dawned on me that it's possible that my dad talked about this and I just didn't remember it. Like when I was younger, he might have mentioned something like this and I might have just overheard it, you know, because kids, we don't remember things, you know, from earlier on. And it's possible that is something that really happens, is that kids overhear things and then they kind of make the conversations happen. But the funny thing about that is that since I realize I'm an agnostic atheist, I haven't had a single ghost sighting, nothing supernatural, nothing weird, out of the ordinary. Nothing like that has ever happened. Haven't heard noises. Haven't, no demons have come by. That used to always happen when I was Christian. Happened all the time, but it doesn't happen anymore, which is weird. So like, why did it just suddenly stop happening now that I don't believe in any of it? You see what I mean?
Like some weird things have happened to me, but that's
Yeah.
like very like pinpoint stuff. But
Yeah.
it's nothing like in that house. And
Yeah.
everything that has happened to me since is things that I can think, well, it's a coincidence.
Yeah.
It could be other things. But the events in that house, it was shocking because I didn't want to believe. Right? Like I was having an edgy phase. I was like, no, no God.
There's no way.
Also,
Yeah.
everybody's stupid if they believe in it. Like,
Yeah. Now, has that
and
happened to
then
you ever since?
and then I was like slapped in the face, basically.
Yeah.
With this stuff just happening.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anything of like a paranormal sort happened to me that couldn't be explained by
Mm-hmm.
normal
Yeah.
events. It's really that house, and people also know that it's the house.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like other people have sort of confirmed things, like the heaviest room in the house is where there were some, little kids still under
Some
there.
kids got unalived. Yeah.
Yeah, some kids got unalive in a well, and they didn't really have like firefighters to take them out back then. And what's crazy is the day that this plate launched from the ether on the wall, we were trash talking the house because we were about to move.
Oh, you were trash talking it, huh?
Yeah, we were like,
Interesting.
oh my God, I'm so glad we're done. We're not going to be here no more. Like last week, yes. And then this thing it's crazy.
Well,
like
then
crazy.
maybe that's what it was. Because they really liked you hanging out there and being there, and they were just mad. I mean,
yeah, moody ghost.
all right. Well, okay. Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, and like I said, I don't disbelieve your experience. I don't, but you'd also agree there's really no way to know if it actually was ghosts or anything like that. It's just something weird happened. Yeah, there's just something weird happened.
I cannot prove that it's ghost. I cannot prove that the thing was mad at me.
Yeah,
I cannot.
I'm with you.
I made a caricature of you. I'm gonna send it sometime.
Of me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay.
When I was waiting,
like a cartoon drawing. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. My email is just my username on.
So your username on YouTube?
Yeah. Just at gmail.com. Yeah. So you can just send it there if you like. You can do that.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll do it. It's a nice caricature.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. So that's very nice.
Kind of realistic.
It's realistic.
Not the ugly type.
Okay. Well, that's very kind of you. That's very, very kind. Wow.
No problem. I hope you have a good night.
Yeah, I hope you have a good night too. Well, thanks. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. That was actually kind of interesting. I enjoyed that. Yeah. And I look forward to seeing your drawing. So can't wait. All right. Hey, have a good rest of your day. All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was interesting. So I think the best part of that conversation was she just said, "Hey, I can't prove it. I can't." And then the whole, "Hey, I made a caricature of you." That was a little bit surprising. So it's interesting. It's just interesting to me because I didn't think anyone would like draw me. I didn't think I was like that interesting of a person, but I'm flattered nevertheless. So, okay, we do have somebody else hanging out in our YouTube queue. So yes, you are next. So I just got to pull you in and then everybody will be able to hear you. So just give me a second, friend. We'll do that. Yep. Okay. All right. We should be able to hear you. How are you doing?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Good, man.
Good. Yeah, we can hear you. How's it going?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, brother. You know, first of all, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm
There's a lot of background noise.
I apologize, man. I just got off the street right here.
Okay. It's just really super loud. Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to hear you.
Let me get into a spot where it's not loud.
Okay.
1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Apologize.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Just it's just really hard to hear you. That's all.
Is this better?
It's a little bit less, so let's go with it and see what happens. Okay. Well, hey, appreciate you waiting. Yeah, appreciate you waiting. So, all right. Well, I do want to talk to people who believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. So, which one do you believe in? Yeah.
I believe in Christ. I believe God has sent His Son down to pay the punishment of our sins.
All right.
You know, and that He rose on the third day. So yeah, you know, I'm gonna just say this first and foremost. You know, thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate you having me on here.
No, you're very polite. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I just came upon, and it was a sweet conversation you had with the lady before. So,
yeah,
you know, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
And,
you got it.
My name is Jay. So
Jay, it's good to meet you.
good to meet you too, man.
All right.
And yeah, I believe in the Bible, the God of the Bible. You know, I believe that Jesus is God in the flesh.
Okay.
I believe that what it says in John, the beginning of John, it says, in the beginning was the Word.
Okay.
The Word was with God, and the Word is God.
Okay.
So that's what I believe. And yeah, I saw your prompt of why God's existence. And I just first like to start off in the avenue of giving my own testimony with it. And then, you know, maybe channel to a couple different things that have to do with it that aren't specifically with the Bible context.
Okay. Well, let's approach it from this perspective, Jay.
Okay.
Let's approach it from this perspective, because now, because you said you had some testimony. Is that your best? Is that your best evidence that God is real, or is there something else that's your best evidence?
I feel like that would be subjective. Like that's like upon the individual who hears it to be like, yeah, that's your best. So that's why I want to be genuine and be like, hey, let's go with these other routes too, because that wouldn't be fair.
Okay. You know? Yeah, because I think that from my perspective, you're right about experience being subjective, right? Like the last lady who was up, you know, she was talking about, you know, a plate flew across the room. Her and her mom both saw it. But then she did acknowledge, hey, I can't prove that. You know, I can't prove it actually happened. But even if we believe her, we have no idea why it happened, right? We could come up with a lot of reasons why that happened, right? Could have been like a little mini earthquake or something like that. Yeah, something just could have happened, right? So it's kind of the same. Yeah, with every experience like that, there could be a million reasons why. But then the other part of it is that how would we be able to distinguish yours demonstrates that your God is real versus a Hindu who has a personal experience, and then and then that tells them, yeah, for sure Vishnu and Krishna are all real because of my experience. We have no way to do that, right?
Yeah, vice versa with like the Muslim belief in Allah.
Yeah. Okay, so you reason that's reasonable. Cool.
I'm on the same foot with
all right. Well, how about we go with something else then? Yeah. Well, what else do you got?
Okay, so then I would want to, because I'm new to this stuff, and I've seen when I talk to people about it.
Yeah.
And the guy I talked to prior to you, it was like a week ago. His name's Joel, and he says he reads the Bible.
Oh yeah, Joel reads the Bible. Yep.
Yeah. Oh man, this guy was really smug towards me. He was cussing at me, and I was just trying to be polite.
Oh really?
Yeah, he was being really rude.
Oh, I'm sorry about. Sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You know, God tells you to turn the cheek and to love your neighbors. So, I mean, he's the prime example for me.
Okay.
But, you know, so just please bear with me. I ask, please, like, you know, I do get a little hesitant. I have no problem. Like, I get shy a little bit. I get, you know, my heart starts pumping because I'm like, oh, this is my first time.
Yeah, no worries. No, you're doing fine so far. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, so like the route I wanted to take, you know, let's put it on trial. There's one big thing for me would be, you know, did it really happen? Jesus is evidence of being here on this earth. And, you know, it's always good to question. Like, you're not going to hear Christians say that. It's good to question.
Okay.
You know, you want to see the evidence to see what is true in life.
Okay.
You want to know the truth.
Yeah.
So, I look at that question of like, let's put it at trial. Did Jesus really be here on this earth? And one thing that I looked at when I was into that subject of seeing that Jesus was actually here on the earth, where it says crucifixions. And I was like, okay, well, were these crucifixions actually happening in Roman time? And they were. There's many manuscripts happening.
Yep.
Many manuscripts that show the evidence of these things happening.
Okay.
Right? And substantial evidence to help document on what had happened.
Okay.
And then there's manuscripts that show for the disciples and how they were killed.
Okay. So let me kind of jump in, Jay. So the because then we can kind of apply the same test to other religions, right? So Buddha existed, so that makes Buddhism true.
No, but that's where I'm saying, like, we got to have the context to have validity.
Perfect. Okay, so we got to dig a little deeper. I'm with you on that. Okay, so I'm gonna grant, for the sake of this argument, that Jesus existed, right? But like parallel to the Buddha example, that doesn't mean that Jesus actually is the Messiah, and that Jesus rose from the dead, and that Jesus ascended into heaven, right? Just because he existed doesn't mean any of those other things happen.
No, yeah, it'd be disingenuous of me to just immediately be like putting my foot down on that.
Perfect.
And saying
saying that's it, end of story. Okay, I'm with you on that. That's fair. I'm with you so far. Okay, so then we have to look at, how do we know, because you would agree, if Jesus didn't actually rise from the dead, and if Jesus actually didn't ascend into heaven, it's those two things. If those two things didn't happen, and not just one, but both of those things have to happen, right? You would agree Jesus is not the Messiah.
Exactly. It would be all false.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay. So what?
I didn't get your name. I'm sorry. What was
I'm
your name?
Trust. I go by Trust.
Oh, Trust. Trust. I try to be a straightforward person, straight shooter.
Fair.
Like, because it's, for me, if we can't be biased. We have to be honest with ourselves to do the research.
Okay.
And that's wrong. Like, when you're saying this, I know you're not coming from a place. It doesn't seem like you're coming from a place of bias, but instead you're like, hey, let's do the research.
Let's do the research and let's talk about it. Yeah. So, okay.
Exactly.
So then we can this is kind of where the rubber hits the road then. So what evidence do we have that Jesus rose from the dead?
Exactly. All right. So now that we had mentioned the manuscripts and the evidence of Jesus rose from the dead, understand that specific part for me, okay, I can't speak for all Christians. That's two things I'd say. The first is the more important than the other. The first is understanding that it's by faith, having faith that he rose.
Okay.
Wait, before we go into opening that can of worms, the second thing I feel like we can really dissect, when it had happened, there was a Jewish individual, high in the what would say high structure of the Jewish church, who had given his tombstone. He gave his tombstone to be used for Jesus.
Are you talking about Joseph of Arimathea?
Yes.
Okay.
And the thing is this. If he had given his tombstone, and there was a big talk, a big ruckus about not having the body of Christ in the tombstone, will we not have the factual evidence that he was still dead?
Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, I see what you're saying. So, Joseph of Arimathea. Here's the challenge that I have with Joseph of Arimathea.
Okay, sir.
One of the things is that what we know from history is that when the Jews wanted someone crucified, like they had to go to the Roman prefect to have that done, right? They needed permission. And then the Romans would carry it out for them. What we do know is that whenever Jews had someone crucified in that manner, that they would not allow them to have the proper burial, that that person would end up in the pit, right? And so because they committed a crime against the Jewish people, so they are not esteemed enough to have that. And then we also know, as you know, when Romans executed a Jewish person, that person would, and it's the Romans who initiated that. It was that person would get the full Jewish burial rights. They get the tomb and all that stuff, right? So that we know from history. Well, see, here's the problem. We also know from reading the Bible that it was the Jews who wanted Jesus executed, right? Exactly. We know that for a fact from the Bible. And so then that would mean that would, if that were the case, then Jesus would not get the proper burial rights. He would be thrown in the pit along with everybody else. And then that kind of messes up the whole story, right? Because then how do you rise from the dead from a pit, right? Because you need to move it from a tomb. Yeah, go ahead.
One second, Trust. Wait, let's not get mistaken right there with that, the process of what you're saying with the proper burial, because we need to establish that Jews would make a proper burial for anybody who, who ceased living and now dead, right?
Well, we know from history, like from historical documents and things like that, that Jews who were executed by Jews did not get the proper burial in Roman times. We know that for a fact. Well, we know that historically. So then that would mean then that if Jesus didn't have this Joseph of Arimathea person, that he would not have gotten the proper burial. That's what we know. Okay, so that's the thing, is that this Joseph of Arimathea arrives on the scene and then either uses his connections or whoever, we don't know really who this guy is. It's been speculated that he might have been a Pharisee or he just had connections. He was a rich guy. We don't know. But the thing is he got it done.
It does.
But we got it done.
It does. It does.
Okay.
It does show who he is.
What I'm asking, well, I'm kind of getting to the point of where I'm getting at, the meat of it. All right. No, you're good. You're good. What I was a little long-winded, but the meat of it, what I'm trying to say is that how do we know independently that Joseph of Arimathea actually existed? How do we know that he actually did?
So to know, we have to do some research. We have to look at backlogs of every historical documentation, manuscript.
Yeah, and we don't have any of Joseph of Arimathea outside of the Bible.
Well, not I can't really at the moment like pull it up because I would like to continue like in-depth conversation of this subject specifically in that. But we have manuscripts, so that's why I was kind of relating towards more of that.
Sure, we have manuscripts.
I
agree.
See how you can, that can help to better bring your position and with the Joseph thing, the better domino effect that it didn't happen or anything like that. But
I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying we don't have evidence that it did happen. And so
Jesus didn't get crucified?
No, we don't have evidence that Jesus was put in a tomb. We have no evidence of that outside of what it says in the Bible.
Wait, we would have evidence though of his deceased body though, correct?
No, what I'm saying though is that we don't have a record. Like no one documented this independently of the Bible. And
Jesus' body in the tomb?
Yep. We have no way to verify that. So all we have is Joseph of Arimathea arriving on the scene. And so an easy way to demonstrate that Jesus was laid in a tomb is to verify that this Joseph of Arimathea person existed and he just wasn't inserted into the story to make it all line up that Jesus wasn't thrown into a pit.
Together.
Yep.
Absolutely. I understand you. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? It's a claim. So we have to verify the claim.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, trust. This is as far I can go. I'm gonna be genuine with you and honest. This is as far as information I have about
all right.
And
that's fair.
What I will do is I'll better do research into it because I'll take mental notes, and then if we ever get a chance to talk again, if I have the information, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome to come back on that. So do you want to? Is there anything else you want to present? We got 17 minutes left. Yeah.
Well, it had to do on the aspect of kind of that with the manuscripts to show the evidence of these men. Like, let's just say hypothetically that these men didn't, these men were crucified, which we have documentation of them being crucified. Certain men being upside down and skinned alive.
We don't, though.
Yeah, we do.
No.
I will pull them up, next time.
We have two of them. And we have mentions by some other historians, like if you go Tacitus or Suetonius or Josephus or whoever, right? Pliny. Okay. Yeah, you can go into those. But what we do know also is that those were mentioned decades later, right? There was no contemporary evidence that any of these people, any of these disciples, number one, existed. We have no evidence that they existed. Or number two, we have no evidence that they were martyred.
Yeah,
not all 12. We have two.
Not all 12, but we have two.
We have Peter, right? Okay. Who was mentioned, but it doesn't say that he doesn't say that that he was a witness to Jesus. Like, we have no writings from Peter himself saying that I saw him rise from the dead. We don't have any of that. I saw him ascend into heaven. We don't have any of that. We have something from James, the brother of Jesus, right? We have a mention of him. Okay. But again, we don't have any direct evidence. And also, that one's a bit tainted too, because he's a brother. So being a brother,
half brother.
well, half brother, but still he's related, and that kind of
Yeah.
taints the evidence as well, right? So a
I
little
think
bit.
in the sense maybe of biasy,
But we got
I think that
it's a little bit biased. So we have 2 out of 12, right? So,
Yeah.
but if we take the other 10, you can't verify that any of the other 10 existed. Not at all. We have no evidence that they existed. So they could have been made up
hold on.
names.
I got you. Here we go. Okay, so like let's say
Unless
we go with that.
you go with the Talmud, where I think it mentions maybe 2 or 3, but the Talmud is like the Reddit of its time.
So, going off what you're saying with, we have 2 of the 10, right? If we're looking at the trying to find the base evidence of seeing if they were actually, let's say there was 12 disciples, but we only got 2 documented in the Bible.
Yeah.
Then we would have to individually see what the Bible is showing of their activity, because there's a lot of things where we see a story of somebody that had happened, and I want to say side quest characters, but like characters or individuals who are in it might not have the validity or more attention given to them in that story. So if we look at the story, like with the Bible, we got James, we got John, we got James, we got Luke, and we got Matthew. And if we go to Luke itself, because Luke actually would help your stance a little bit with the situation that Luke is a historian.
Luke is a historian. Well, we think Luke is a historian, but we don't even know if Luke actually wrote the Gospel of Luke. We don't have any evidence of that.
Well,
because the historians, the scholars agree that all the Gospels were written anonymously, so we can't attribute Luke to writing Luke, for sure.
Well, no. What I'm trying to get to is
Confidently.
Luke is this. Understanding that Luke is we don't have to say he's a historian. We don't have to say that. But we do know, it says it in there, that these are accounts of eyewitnesses of seeing Jesus while he was doing his ministry, right? From the age of 30 to 33. And then after his resurrection. So you see first-hand accounts of eyewitnesses talking about it, where Luke is taking account of them who saw it.
Yeah, and that still doesn't get us to the resurrection.
It does, because it mentions that they saw him after he was resurrected.
They saw him afterwards, and you also realize that at that time.
What did you just say, though? What did you just
okay,
say? Right,
so
right
then
now?
that tells me. Okay, so then that means then you're going to have to accept that Nero resurrected, right? Because there were multiple accounts and eyewitness statements of Nero resurrecting, and in fact, there was a 30,000 person uprising led by the resurrected Nero to take over Rome. So that means that Nero resurrected, right?
No, you're trying to use a theology like of what I'm saying to apply to every single situation.
Right.
And I have to tell you.
I'm using your criteria. You said that there's eyewitness statements, eyewitness accounts of Jesus having resurrected. So I'm telling you that there were eyewitness accounts of Nero resurrecting.
No, wait, no. I'm correlating it with the 10. I'm not talking about just the principle of saying that if this applies here, it can apply. I'm talking about the 10 because you said 2 of the 10. That's what I was correlating.
2 of the 10. Okay, we'll go back to that. So, that being the case, we also have evidence that the Gospels were all copied from each other. So what Luke wrote was not an original. Like, he didn't independently verify any of this. He just copied what he wrote. So that we know happened. We can see that. And matter of fact, next Monday, I'm going to have a gospel scholar who's going to talk about that, Christ before Jesus. So you can see that through the process of stylometry, that these things were copied, and the scholars mostly agree on that. So even if you take it from there, so if you take that evidence that the Gospels were copied from each other, mostly from Mark and I believe Matthew, right? And John is like the only independent one. So if we take it from that perspective, and then we also see that John, the scholarly theory is that John was written by multiple people, not just one person. So even if we take all of them were written anonymously, we can't attribute any of the gospel authors to anybody. So we don't even know if Luke wrote Luke. Yeah. We have no idea.
Well, wait a minute. So, yeah, I don't. What you just said right now, the Gospels, I don't import them to people. what I look at is that it's the inspired word of God. And when you look at and you let's say you put it on trial, like I was talking about earlier, let's put it on trial, right? We got the 4 gospels. When we put it on trial, are they in any? And this shows a divine nature that it had to be fluently together. Are any of the four gospels contradicting each other?
Oh, for sure they do.
Give me one.
Absolutely. Okay.
'Cause I'm learning.
Okay. So
I like to learn.
okay. So if we find, so are you saying there are no contradictions in the gospel?
I said they only bring the validity of the Bible being true.
Okay. What time was Jesus crucified?
Well, I don't have my book with me, man. You gotta have to tell
Okay.
me 'cause
Do
I'm over here getting groceries.
okay. Do the gospels line up in terms of Jesus being crucified?
I believe so.
Okay.
Believe so.
All right. So let me look up the 2 passages here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, it was actually easy to find this time. All right. So we've got one passage that says Jesus was crucified at one time, and then another passage that Jesus was crucified at another time, right? So,
which passages?
All right, yeah, let me look them up. Let me find it. Well, I know one is in Mark. One is in Mark that there we go. Mark 15, verse 25.
Yeah, let me pull it up, okay?
It's Mark versus John. So Mark chapter 15, verse 25.
Mark 15, verse 25.
Yep.
Okay. We got right here. Let me pull it up. All right. Now it was the third hour, and they crucified him.
Okay. So is that true or is that false?
I believe it to be true.
You believe it to be true?
Now it was the 3rd hour. Okay.
Okay.
I'll read the verse right before it because it's just like dissecting like that. I gotta understand that there's a verse right. And when they crucified him, they divided his garments, casting lots for them to determine what every man should take.
Yeah.
Now it was the 3rd hour, and they crucified him.
So they crucified him at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? So, and we know it was Passover.
I don't know if it would be 9 o'clock in the morning.
It was 9 o'clock in the morning when they crucified him. Well, is 25 true or false? Was it 9 o'clock or was it not 9 o'clock?
Wait, what version are you reading, brother?
Oh, it doesn't matter which version. Does it say 9 o'clock does it say 9 o'clock in your book?
No, it says the 3rd hour.
The 3rd hour. Okay. So if you look at the 3rd hour, if you look at, and I'll let you research this. The 3rd hour, the first hour is 6 a.m. Second hour is 7 a.m. or actually 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. So 9 a.m. would be the 3rd hour. 6 o'clock would be 0 hour. So that's how they did that back then. So the 3rd hour equals 9 a.m. So that's how we know it's the 3rd. That's how we know it's 9 o'clock. All right. So I'll let you research that. Now, if you go to John, okay, so now let's go to John chapter 19, verses 14 through 16.
All right, let me pull it up. I'm a little slow, but I apologize.
Yeah. And I have it in my, I got it on my back screen now, if you want to see it there, but it's up to you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's go to John. What'd you say, John?
John 19, verses 14 through 16.
John.
Because we know that according to the other gospels, Jesus was executed on Passover.
16.
Yep, John 19, verses 14 through 16.
14 through 16. Okay. Now it was the preparation day of the Passover. And about the 6th hour, he said to the Jews, "Behold your king." But they cried out, "Away with him, away with him, crucify him." Pilate said to them, "Shall I crucify your king?" Answered, "We have no king but Caesar." Then they delivered him to them. So they took Jesus and let him away.
Okay.
They're going to crucify him.
So was he crucified on the 3rd hour or the 6th hour?
The sixth. Do you understand that the 6th hour is just saying? Do you understand that the 6th hour is just saying they're bringing upon the people that they're bringing upon the people? Flog him.
Yeah, there's a lot of feedback.
And then crucify him.
Yeah. So that means, so how could he be crucified on the same day at 9 a.m. that he was in trial for Pilate?
Wait,
Because that's the same. It's the same exact day.
No, it's not. The preparation.
It's the same exact day. I'll let you go look it up. It's the same exact day.
Oh no, you got that wrong.
Oh no, I don't have it wrong. You're gonna have to look it up. Okay, so if we go to the annotated, yeah, it's the same day. It is a clear contradiction. It's talking about.
It goes into the night, into the day of.
No, it's not. Okay, show me evidence of that. Show me evidence of that.
Okay, so look, man, it's really
Who told me that was a biblical scholar? Several biblical scholars told me that. So that's just not true.
They got you got eyes twisted going one way or the other. Because if you look at the timeline of it, okay?
Yeah, we tell people what it is. It's the same day, brother. It's the same day.
Oh, it was overnight into the next day.
No, it wasn't.
Why they took them off for.
It was the same day.
You literally just said why they took them off.
It was the same day.
No, because it would have been in that morning, the day preparation.
No,
the day of preparation.
It was the same day. Yes, I understand what that means. It was the day of preparation, where under Mark was when he was crucified, and then under John he was on trial. It's the same day. They got the times wrong. So who's okay? Well, show me evidence of that. Show me the evidence that clearly. No, you didn't, because you didn't show me.
All right, you're asking me, and I'll tell you. Ready? Check it out. The preparation of the Passover. Preparation is not declaring that it's the day of Passover. It's going into that day, brother.
Nope.
And what we need to understand.
You don't. It doesn't say anything about that.
I just read it to you. Right
yeah,
now.
you read it in John, but I want you to show me in Mark that it's the next day.
It says the 9th. Then you explained to me. You broke.
At the third hour. No, at the third. No, I want you to show me that it's the next. I want you to show me that it's the next day. Show me in Mark that it's the next day.
What are you talking about? It just says the 6th hour. It says the 3rd hour.
That's right.
Yeah. So you're.
And then if you go back, okay. So have you read Mark? Have you read what the whole story says?
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, look. I read Mark, but not everything is being retained at all times. I would be dishonest if I would say everything's being retained.
Okay. Then I suggest that you go back and read Mark. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll read it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read it.
Yeah. Okay.
So with that subject, like obviously we're not gonna reach a agreement or anything on that. I understand. I get it. You think of it as one thing, I think of it as another. Okay, I got it. Like we're both standing our heel on that. I completely understand it.
Okay.
And I it's with no malice, brother. Like, thank you for talking to me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. No problem, man.
Yeah. So, this is not moving the goalposts, but talking about.
I don't know why it goes. It does that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to mention was, it had to do with the talks you had with that young lady with the glasses and the other gentleman who talked more on the science-based things.
Mm-hmm.
And because we had already discussed the two things with the manuscripts. You're not believing it, and then we went into the Bible. You're interpreting it a different way than what I believe it to be. So I just wanted to talk about.
Well, I'm using what the scholars say. So. Yeah.
I'm using what the Bible says. You're using what the scholars are saying. There's a difference. I'm literally going to the source.
Yeah, I'm reading what the Bible says, and then I'm verifying it through the scholars, and then the scholars it lines up with what I read, what the Bible says. Yes. So I'm doing both.
Okay. No, here's the thing. You're using secondary. Now you're saying this. Now you want to use the Bible, but you're not understanding what it says in the preparation. Let's not talk about that no. We already talked about it. Okay. I wanted to talk about that certain thing you had mentioned to that girl that had happened to you.
Yeah, you got about a minute and a half left. Yeah.
I thought, okay.
No, you're good.
It's happened to me too. It's happened to me too.
Okay.
And it has to be in the sense of understanding what God has given us discernment for. And what I'm talking about has to do with understanding that there's a realm outside of this physical realm we have.
And how do you demonstrate that? How do you know that?
I do. So it's a spiritual realm.
Yeah, how do you know that? How do you know that's true?
I've seen it.
You've seen it. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, so
we have supernatural events happening.
Okay, so there are people who have seen that there is no supernatural world. So then that makes what they say true.
No. Because here's the thing. That's why I said discernment first.
Okay, but you're
I
just
gave you the
saying,
word discernment.
but you're saying, hey, I know it's there because I saw it, and I'm telling you, some people say, well, I know that there is no spiritual world because I saw that there's no spiritual world.
Wait,
There's nothing beyond this world.
You don't think there's a spiritual world?
Nope.
You don't think there's no? But you had abnormal activities.
Yeah, it was a delusion. I was 9 years old.
Are you sure that's a delusion?
Yeah, of course it was a delusion. Kids see things all the time. Kids see things all the time.
Wait. How can you prove that though?
Well, number one is, since I stopped being a believer, since I realized I'm an atheist, I don't have any supernatural zero supernatural experiences. Zero. Absolutely zero. So they all seem to happen when I was a believer. I used to think I talked to God. Well, clearly I haven't talked to God. I've never talked to God. That was a delusion. So it was a delusion. It was my imagination. Kids have wild imaginations.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
So I think, like, here's the thing I know. The minute you try to get closer to God, the enemy is going to do everything to derive you from that.
Okay. And how do we know that there's an enemy?
Because you question if there's good or evil.
How does that demonstrate that there's an enemy, though? Just because I question that there's good and evil.
The enemy is evil.
And how do we know that? How do we know it's not God that's evil and that the enemy's good? Because wouldn't the enemy still be an enemy if God was evil and the enemy were good?
No, got you. Ready? Check this out. So I forgot what scientist said this.
Gotcha.
But it said, how do you know there's a straight line if yours is crooked?
Okay.
You gotta have some moral compass to come on.
That doesn't track.
No, okay. You have to have a moral compass that everything's derived off.
Of course.
If we don't know what's good and bad, then who's to say that killing a baby?
How do you know I don't know what's good and bad? Okay, I can easily demonstrate that. Okay.
I don't want you to demonstrate killing a baby. But
No, not that. No. Don't misread what I'm saying, Jay. What I'm saying is that, because see, I do have morals, but I can demonstrate where they come from. They were derived by humans.
But where they get
from the laws of logic.
What do you mean logic?
What do you mean logic?
Explain logic.
Logic? The logic. There's the three laws of logic: the laws of identity, the law of identity, the law of non-contradiction, and the law of excluded middle. That's the law. Those are the laws of logic. We discovered those, but they've always existed.
Okay, so if people went by just that theory, like we can say, we can still determine, have discernment to say, okay, that if they're applying that with the law of logic and saying from ancestry or people passing it down, you understand you still have a moral compass to say what's good or bad.
Yeah, I do. It's based on the laws of logic, and I can show you that. I can show you that a belief in God is a very, very faulty thing. I can show you. I can demonstrate it very, very easily.
Well,
would you like me to do that?
You're actually proving what I'm talking about with the sense of understanding that it doesn't. Those people got it from something else. You just don't want to admit it.
So you're saying that we got our morality from God, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
The judgment
Perfect.
he makes is what we get.
Perfect.
What we decide.
Okay.
That's good or bad.
Okay. So what moral principle under God justifies preventable suffering?
Parental severing?
Preventable suffering.
Can you need to explain what preventable suffering?
Preventable suffering, like unnecessary suffering.
What would be unnecessary suffering?
Well, are you saying? Well, let me ask you: do you think that all suffering is necessary in this world, in this existence?
No.
No.
Think so.
Okay. So is it okay? So do you think God has the power to prevent all suffering, either stop it or prevent it entirely?
Yeah, I believe he's absolute.
He's absolute. So he's all powerful, which means that if he wanted to, nobody here would suffer, right? If that's what he wanted. Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Okay, so if you had the power to stop or prevent suffering that's unnecessary, is it the right or wrong thing to do to prevent it?
It's all based on what God tells you.
It's based on what God tells. Okay, so what you're saying then is hold on, Jay. Okay, If you're a doctor, what you're telling me is if you're a doctor and you can prevent a patient from suffering, are you saying that the doctor has to wait for God to tell him what to do?
No, you go off the discernment of what he's already told you.
He's going off discernment. Okay. So if he doesn't hear that, so he has to wait for discernment. Because if he,
No, he's
what
not
if,
waiting.
okay, so what if he
It's all
hasn't, what if the
dependent on your
doctor hasn't gotten discernment?
Here's the thing. What you're saying with the implying of waiting, you have to understand that we all have this thing called free will. It's
Okay.
upon your own actions to decide if you go seek the truth.
I'm about to kill free will. I'm about to kill it.
I would not kill it. You can't kill
Oh
free
yeah, I
will.
can, in this example, I can. Yeah. I'm going to give you an example in which free will is totally irrelevant to suffering. You think free will and suffering are always connected?
Free will and suffering?
Yeah.
I think one's derived off the other.
You think one's derived off the other? Okay.
Yeah.
So would you agree or disagree that if let's just say an animal gets trapped in a forest fire and the forest fire is started by lightning. And so this animal is just totally surrounded by fire. So there's no way it can get out of this fire, right?
Yeah.
Now, if this animal dies, which it probably will, but let's just say it does, do you think this animal suffered?
Yeah, it goes in the fire.
It burned to death. Okay, so what did free will do to make that animal suffer?
Free will?
Yeah,
But
you said
God-
free will. You said free will and suffering are related, right? So
no, I said one's derived off the other.
Okay.
Let's get that straight.
okay,
There's
so
a
it's
difference.
derived off the other. So how is
Yeah.
this animal suffering derived from free will?
Okay. So his free will was to run wherever he wanted.
The animal
Got
has
in
free
there.
will?
Yeah, it does. It goes back and forth. It shits wherever it wants.
The animal has free will.
Yeah.
Okay, but free will. Okay, so how does the animal make moral decisions? Because that's what free will is
Doesn't.
tied to, right?
No, it doesn't have a conscience to make moral decisions.
Okay, so it doesn't have
You can't compare
choice.
humans to, huh?
But you would
It does
agree.
have a
Okay,
choice.
but I asked now, is that suffering preventable by God? Could God prevent that suffering of that animal if God wanted to?
Yeah.
Okay,
if he wanted
so
to.
if she can prevent the suffering of this animal and she doesn't, then is that the right thing or the wrong thing that she did?
If who? I'm
God.
sorry.
Yeah, if she could prevent the suffering of this animal and God didn't, did she do the right thing or the wrong thing?
Wait, you think God's a she, brother?
Isn't she?
God's outside of
God's
that.
a male?
He's what? No, God's no male.
God's
Like,
not. So it doesn't matter what I call her then. I can call her she
Yeah,
if I
it
wanted
does.
to.
You can call it she, but I don't believe that concept of what you.
Well, I
think
don't
it is.
believe that God's a he. I believe that God's a she.
What's
Oops.
a she then? What's a she?
All right. Well,
I'm
let's
not
not
offended.
get off the topic. The topic
I'm
is
not. Because
did-
your theory of
okay.
what you're coming in with the principles, it doesn't align with what I believe.
okay. So
it's like
is God
you're trying to trap me into a narrative that I don't believe.
is okay.
it's
So
like-
is the suffering of the animal preventable by God? Yes or no?
It can be, yeah.
It can. So God could prevent the suffering of the animal if God wanted to. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have the power to prevent the suffering, if you could prevent the animal from suffering, would you do it? Yes or no?
I have to weigh the scales.
You'd have to weigh the scales. So what would prevent you from stopping the suffering of the animal then? Talk us through it.
Okay, I got
On
you.
what?
So,
What's an example?
well, let's go with that one. If I can prevent the animal from, I have to weigh what's around the.
Yeah, if you had the power, if you had the power
You
to
just asked me
prevent
a
the suffering
question,
and
Trust. I'm trying to answer.
Yeah,
it. You
so-
just asked me a question.
Okay.
Let me answer it, please. Okay. You just cut me off. So if I'm weighing the scale, I have to see, is it plausible for me to get in and out without being harmed? Now, if I can do it without being harmed, I'm gonna do it.
okay,
But
you
if
have the
I can't,
power to do it without being harmed.
If possible.
Okay.
So let's say the route of doing it causes me harm. What's the meter of harm that it's gonna bring me? Is it gonna
Okay,
cause me
so
death?
it causes
Is
you
gonna bring me
no
life?
harm. Okay, so by that metric,
Okay.
would God be harmed if God prevented that animal from suffering?
God would be hurt by feelings, because that's what he.
God
did
would
for
be
us.
hurt by feelings if he went and saved the
he
animal's
would be
life?
hurt.
How would
No.
Okay,
on the principle of
Jay,
going
you got
and
to track.
saving us.
You got to track here. You got to track. I'm talking about the animal stuck in a forest fire.
Yeah.
Would God be harmed if God tried to save the animal?
Would God be harmed? God, God, no, God wouldn't.
Okay, so
Like,
it's the same thing. If you had the power to save the animal
but we're
and
not
you would
God.
hold on, let me ask my question. If you had the power to save the animal and you weren't harmed, is it the right thing or the wrong thing to do for you to save the animal?
If I wasn't going to get harmed, I would save it.
Okay, so
What are you doing?
so between you and God, who's right? Who made the right call?
How is that plausible if God is God and I'm not God?
Okay, that's not the answer to my question. Between you and
'Cause
God,
it has a narrative that I don't believe.
between you and God, who did the right
believe you're
thing?
God?
I said no. You gotta listen to what I'm saying, Jay. Between you and God, who did the right
Are you
thing?
following Jesus? If you're not
God.
following Jesus, then would you
God did the right thing
God.
by not saving the animal when he could have done it without being harmed.
God's always right, brother.
Okay, so what you're saying then is that it's the right thing to do if you have the power to save somebody from suffering, save a being from suffering without getting harmed, and you don't do it, that's the right thing to do.
Repeat that again one more time.
What you're saying then is that it's the right thing to do to not save a being who is suffering if you yourself do not get harmed. That's what you're saying.
No.
Okay, well, you just said God did the right thing, so that means that that's the right thing to do.
You said being.
A being.
You switched being.
Is an animal?
A human being.
I didn't say a human being. I said an animal. Is an animal a being?
An animal is an animal. It's not a human being. Bro.
I didn't say human being. I said a being, a living being.
That's where you gotta have discernment to see what that being is. Like,
Okay.
I'm gonna go save a little.
This guy's not
squirrel from a
tracking.
big fire.
I will be clipping this. This guy's not tracking. Okay. Well, listen, Jay, I'm going to have to cut this short, but hey, I advise you to come back and present me your evidence that, what was the evidence that you were going to present? It was something about, Joseph of Arimathea. Yeah. So come back with your evidence about Joseph of Arimathea and we can talk about that.
I appreciate you, man.
Yep.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Hey, God bless you, brother.
Okay. Have a good one. All right. So, you know what's funny about that is that like when Christians, like when you start taking it and you start leading them down this road, they know the trap is coming and they just don't want to get there. They care more about getting trapped than they do about answering the questions honestly, because they know it's going to trap them. And the funny thing is that, you know, with these moral dilemmas, atheists don't get trapped. They don't. It's pretty obvious what the answer is. And so how does it that they suddenly like, they get stupid about the answers? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? It just depends. It just is like, the fuck? What is up? It is trouble is here, everybody. Trouble is
trouble.
Here. It is trouble.
Trouble's here.
I heard you I was listening to you earlier today with this Deconstruction Zone. So that was really cool.
Yes, with Justin. That was fun.
Yeah, I bet you that was fun. And so that was really interesting to hear like your thoughts and a little bit of your story and all that. That was really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, like hopefully that, I'm just getting started out. So we'll see where things go.
Yeah.
But, I'm happy to be here with the atheist debate space. It's great.
Yeah,
Love it.
exactly. So we're happy to have you as well. So I think I'm going to have you up on my, I'd like to have you up sometime as like to hang out with me for like an extended period, not just come up for like, a few minutes and say
for like
hello.
a coast.
Yes,
a coast.
yes.
I can totally like do some cooking with you. That'd be fun.
Right on. That would be fun. Okay. Well, we'll definitely do that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun hearing that. So I just wanted to, bring you up and say that, but I'm about to end. So I want it, but you're welcome. Yeah, no, you're more than welcome to stay up. I'm just going to bring up my mods and all that stuff. So yeah, hang out.
I was listening to that one, but last guest, and they were talking about like what the crucifixions and stuff, the evidence for that.
Yeah.
And Joseph of Arimathea. Yeah, we do not have any evidence for Joseph of Arimathea, like outside of the Bible. It is just not there.
Nope.
As far as crucifixion evidence, I would say the biggest crucifixion event was the late, like at the end of the 1st century, was with like Spartacus. Like where you had the Romans did crucify over like 6,000 people.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that was the point of contention was he was trying to tell me that in Mark he was talking about that Jesus was crucified the next day, when that's not. If you read Mark, the days are messed up, and that's not true. It's the same day. If you read through Mark, it's the same day.
The days are all messed up.
Yeah, the same. Yeah, it's the same day, but the hours are messed up because one says the third, one says the
pretzels
sixth.
You have to like twist yourself into to make like the harmony of the Gospels work, and it doesn't.
Nope, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yeah. So that was the fun part, and so that's why I just asked him, just go read it, because you read Mark, it's obvious it's on the same day. It's pretty obvious.
You think Matthew and Luke would have like just copied off of Mark, since they obviously copied off of a lot of what Mark had already written. So it's kind of curious that they got that part wrong.
Yeah. It's really curious. And I didn't even go into like Simon of Cyrene or anything like that. I mean, I had like 3 or 4 of them ready, but see, the funny part is that he suddenly like couldn't hear me right. He couldn't track when I was starting to get into the morality part of it, because he knew the trap was coming. He could see it coming, and he knew I was going to trap him. He even said it. He's like, "Yeah, you're trying to trap me." I'm like, "Yeah, you damn right I'm trying to trap you."
Right.
Because it's so easy.
Admiral Akbar. It's a trap.
Yeah, exactly. It's a trap. Exactly. So, okay, so the guests that are waiting in the queue, I'm going to close up because I'm going to read some super chats. I'm going to bring up my my mods so we can have a little fun with them and thank them and all that stuff, because that's what we do here. And oh my goodness, Ethereal Ember, it worked a second time.
I know.
I think we're on to something. Isn't that amazing?
We might be.
We might be on to something.
It really is.
Yeah,
yes,
I think we're on to something. Okay, and I think that's the only 2 I have in on TikTok. Oh no, we have 3 pips. Is 3 pips still here? Yes, 3 pips is still here. And I think I saw Forever Atheist floating around somewhere, right? And there's Soy Sauce. Okay. And is Philly Red still here? Yeah. And then there's Forever Atheist. Okay. We got a full house today. How exciting. Okay. Hey guys. These are all my mods. I had a lot of mods rumbling around today. Not to mention my mods on the YouTube side. We have Rainbow Ash and Blaster Master 80 and Soy Sauce. You were kind of going over there too, huh? All right. Well, really appreciate you guys doing all that.
YouTube got a little chaotic.
Yeah, it did. Well, it's kind of the Wild West out there, and that's why I've got the bot to help you guys out a little bit. It does get a little chaotic. Okay, and Marduk is there too. So I'm going to read some super chats. So we've got one from, I read BTF Wayne. You guys can't really see this one, but it's Marduk 6880. Thank you, Marduk. $9.99. Keep cooking. I certainly will, my friend. So thank you very much for that. And Zinbiel, I think that's how you say it. For $10 says all 4 gospels agree on the midday darkness at 3 p.m. death. That's not true. Even though John's gospel describes the trial using the Roman time, which explains the apparent wording differences. And that is not true. So we can easily see that, and like you said, Redhead of Trouble, this is one of the pretzels that you were talking about, right? This is the pretzels you have to go through to kind of make this work. No, it's pretty clear that the 3 gospels have the 9 a.m. death, and then John has the 6th hour death. And so it's very, very clear. So
that just goes to show you too, like how separate just John, the Gospel of John, is from the other 3.
Exactly.
It's just that gospel is mainly focused on like Christology and just trying to like build this, super, like you get a bunch of narratives in there that aren't in the other gospels or talked about by anybody else.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So it doesn't line up. And that's just like one of them. That's just like one. Doesn't line up at all. So
like doubting Thomas, that whole narrative at the end of like him that's not in any of the other gospels.
Yeah. Exactly.
They all kind of have their very like individual thing. Like Matthew has the zombies in Yeah.
Zombies. Yeah, exactly. Matthew has the zombies.
Has the zombies, just coming out in the tombs and saying hi.
Yeah, exactly.
To everybody, like nobody ever mentions that in history. You think that would be like
that would be such a significant thing, right? Because you think like Jerusalem at the time they estimate that it was probably a city of like 100,000 people, something like that. I mean, it was a sizable enough.
Give or take.
Yeah, give or take,
it was
right?
Sizable. Yeah.
It was pretty sizable. Yeah, big enough city to where you would notice a bunch of zombies walking around. Corpses walking around. Nobody thought to write that down, report it. Anything?
Josephus did not mention this.
Yeah, nobody mentioned it. Yeah.
You think that would happen? Same thing with Herod, like him, like unaliving all the babies.
Exactly.
Like that never like occurred anywhere in history.
Never occurred
either.
anywhere. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm just very curious that all these events, like these major events, happened and no one else decided to write this stuff down.
Yeah, it's like this is the first time we're hearing about all this. Wow,
right? And Romans kept pretty good records.
Meticulous
I mean,
records.
Considering for antiquity, so it's just kind of like you think even Pilate would have there would be some writings from Pilate about so it was like the strangest thing. I crucified this Jesus guy and. Then we
had zombies running all over the series.
We had a little mini zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was the weirdest thing. Yep, nothing like that happened. Exactly.
Crickets.
Exactly. Yep, total crickets. So you would think, because he was prefect at the time. We know he was prefect of Judea. We've got the Pilate Stone. We've got independent, contemporary writings that Pilate existed, and he was a prefect of Judea. So we know that. Yeah, we know that for a fact. So,
you think that they'll get reported back, the Romans talked back and forth to each other, especially like back and forth to Rome. You think that would be kind of something of note.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, yeah.
So I hope you guys are having fun in Rome right now. I'm dealing with some zombies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Must be nice being in Rome. Yeah,
must be nice being in Rome. Exactly.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I'm out here in the wasteland with fucking zombies. Yeah, have fun, guys. Fuck you. Exactly. Exactly. So, all right. Well, mods. Again, thank you. And everybody, all the people on the TikTok side, these are all people that you need to follow, especially, Redhead of Trouble and Ethereal Ember and Scooty Scoot and Soy Sauce and Forever Atheist. So if you're not following, please do. And yeah, if you have any gifts for them, that'd be great too. And also on the YouTube side, I just want to thank my other mods, Rainbow Ash and Marduk and, Blaster Master 80 and then Soy Sauce jumping back and forth modding over on YouTube and then coming over to mod on TikTok too. So you're doing a little bit of double duty. So I really, really appreciate the effort you guys put in and and all this other stuff. You guys are very, very kind. So I really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much. All right. Well, last thing is who can we raid? Who's on tonight? Anybody know?
Deconstruction Zone is they're live right now.
They're live? Okay. Well, I guess that's where we'll go, huh?
I guess Tiny Tiny Science.
Oh, let's do Tiny. Live. Yeah, I did Deconstruction Zone last week and he's probably got like 600 people in there. So let's do Tiny Science, yeah. But I'm not sure if Tiny Science is on YouTube. I don't think he is. So YouTube folks, you're more than welcome to head over to Deconstruction Zone and raid there if you want. But on TikTok, let's do a raid of Tiny Science. I think that's a great idea. Let's do that and jump over there and you guys know what to do. So if you don't know who Tiny Science is, just type in Tiny Science in your search bar and then just say TBV raid. That's it. So very simple. And I'm sure Tiny Science will really appreciate that. That's how we support our creators as well. So, all right. Well, you know what? Redhead, you and I, Tiny absolutely deserve it. But so I'm gonna definitely get with you offline, Redhead Trouble, and we're gonna schedule something. So we're gonna get in some trouble, right?
Yes, getting into trouble. Yes,
we're gonna get in some trouble.
I heard you and Lobes are gonna be doing some collaboration.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do a collaboration. We're like putting the pieces together for that. Yeah, so So stay tuned, everybody, for that. Me and Lobes we're gonna do a collab. So yeah, I'm really opening up the collab area. I know I closed it down for a while, but I'm opening it back up. So I want to, partner up with some creators and have some fun and, do some co-hosting
Well, initially
together.
we were supposed to do it with TSP anyway, so we can just kind of do it on our own. It's
Exactly.
fine.
Exactly. Yeah. So I figured, why not? I'll just do it on my own.
I got
So
no strings on me.
right on, man. Right on. You got no strings. You're a free agent. Exactly. So
Exactly.
time to float around. And yeah, exactly. That's the best place to be. All right. Well, guys, thanks again. Have a great Monday. And I'll see you over in Tiny Science on TikTok. And, I'll even jump over to Deconstruction Zone on YouTube and just yell out TBV raid. All right. So enjoy the rest of your Monday, guys. Happy MLK Day. And we'll see you tomorrow. All right. Take care.